Hey everybody, welcome to a new session of the Arcane Promise, a Spelljammer 5th Ed D&D play online with a bunch of my friends from around the country and the industry. Let's take a quick second to, I'm Bryan C.P. Steele. You guys know me from my other show, or maybe don't, maybe you don't. Maybe you only watch this one. I don't know. But regardless, I am the DM here. I am the master. I am the alpha and the omega.
Ooh, clever.
Yeah, it's a joke there because one of these guys runs a store.
Segue.
So as a segue. Yeah, so let's go ahead and introduce everybody, and then we'll get started. We'll start rolling some dice.
I'm Rick. I am the host of Rick Rolls America. I will be getting back somewhat on the road starting in June. It's going to be a big modification, but I play Lassiter, Lore Seeker, your friendly treasure hunting rogue.
Ben, you laughed next. You're next.
Oh, geez. I am Ben. I am one of the owners, along with Jake, of Alpha Omega Hobby, and I am playing Grazakh, who's definitely a bugbear, not any other goblinoid race fighter. Also an aspiring pickle baron, goblin minion master, just a real MVP. See, Rick's got one of my minions there. That's me.
So my name is Jake Krajeski. I'm one of the owners and founders of Alpha Omega in the Boston area. I work there with Ben, obviously. I'm playing Typhon Sigma, a Warforged monk, and current mode of transportation for Ixidor the Scholar.
It's a good lead-in for Ixidor.
Ixidor of the Electrum Tome is a 2-foot-tall, 20-pound, 100-year-old kobold scholar who's really into dragons. And I am Chris O'Neill from Ninth Level Games, and I am a game designer and from the Philly region.
I am Culvert, also known as Clover B, and among other things, I work for Armor Class 10 when conventions are in existence. And I'm playing Manon Dorian, who is a Dragon March sorcerer.
All right, so as of this is the second session on the actual channel, but the third session that we've recorded. I'm not going to go all the way back to the beginning. I'm going to absolutely just do the Reader's Digest version. These 5 unexpected heroes were gathered together by forces unknown to serve out their role in destiny. It has put them on a fractured planet called Halistoop in an effort to find their sixth chosen comrade, which requires them to find the cartographer, which in the last session they actually located him. He is a blue-skinned dracon, which is basically a dragon centaur, named Hastrix Ridgeback, also seemingly an alcoholic, and
He can stop anytime he wants.
yeah, he has the power. He just refuses. Who is somewhat enamored with a mysterious individual that we have yet to meet. And in our last session, when last we met our intrepid heroes, they learned of this dragon expert, this expert from beyond the stars that knows everything about dragons and then some, who happens to be best friends with the cartographer and is currently missing, possibly kidnapped by multiple people. There's been some confusion. There's a dragon-worshipping cult, a cult of Takhisis, or Tiamat, as the locals are more akin to use. There is a crew of a lizardman ship who seems to lay claim to this person, this mysterious expert. And then there's now you 5 who are searching to find him. And when we left you, you had just dispatched some angry lizardmen crewmen who were trying to You were down the Broken Quarter, which is a kind of partially subterranean section of town that like literally was part of a crater. That the lizardmen were dispatching cultists. They were like, killing cultists as if they were nothing, just to slaughter and throw it over the side of the pit. And you had left one. Was it one lizardman alive? No,
I knocked out 2.
There are 2 lizard commoners alive and 4 dragon cultists that are currently still bound and gagged because you had not gotten so far as to decide what you were going to do. And let's begin.
So we're still in the pit.
You are you're by the edge of the pit. You guys had gone through the bodies, found a couple of cool bits and bobs, a very interesting signet ring that made a few of the players more excited than their characters. And then the dead bodies were tossed over the side to land in the muck and mire below, leaving you with the commoners and the dragon cultists.
Well, who wants to be the interrogator on this fine evening?
I thought we talked to the one guy last time. He gave us a whole bunch of info. He told us about the.
Yeah, but we hadn't decided what was the next step.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said who was going to interrogate him. I was like, I thought we already.
We had definitely already interrogated them, and I think the idea was that we were potentially going to go along with the lizard cultists for a little bit.
No, the lizard crewmen.
The crewmen, yeah.
The humans are the cultists.
Okay.
Were the crewmen part of the Githyanki crew? Is that correct?
No, totally separate. Totally separate vessels.
All right.
Different vessel.
Because the lizard men just wanted to find somebody named Krut, and then the captain's specialist, who we think is Pontelius.
Yes, which should be Pontelius Cartanulia the Fourth.
We're all looking for the same guy.
It seems like everybody's looking for the same guy. Krut is the bosun of the Hullgnasher, which is the lizardman ship.
And we were discussing actually trying to get both ships, right?
There was some discussion.
I think you were discussing how to get both ships. But.
And Grazakh's plan was get one ship to steal the other.
Yeah, best plan. Obviously, it's the planner of the group. little confused why we have a
forward thinking
gang of dum-dums here. Kind of just waiting for one of you to say something, so I figured.
So the plan is to go with the lizard? The
lizard commoners, they basically, because you guys had killed
everybody else.
Yeah.
I
think we only killed one person, I think.
We killed like the alpha lizard that was like leading them.
Oh yeah, because you were just bonking the rest on the head. So that's okay. My 4 looks like a 2. Yeah, so you've got 4 lizard commoners and 4 dragon cultists. The cultists are still tied up. 3 of the commoners have been bonked on the head by Typhon Sigma.
We had the one to talk.
The one who is awake, he mentions that we were scouting ahead into the tunnels. We were trying to find sign of Krut.
Into these tunnels.
We followed the cultists here.
Mm.
And we believe they were following Krut.
And that's their missing bosun, yeah?
Yes.
Is there a awake cultist because the one that we followed here ran away from us.
They're all awake and terrified. Like the looks on their faces, their eyes are wide. They're kind of making that mewly weird sound of, hey, why don't you let me out? I've got a rag in my mouth.
So I'm going to sidle over there and ask, which of you is the smartest?
They kind of exchange glances, and one of them sort of sits up a little higher and nods.
So I take the gag out of the one that nodded.
You got blue grease paint all over your fingers now.
Oh yeah, because we've got.
I will clean that. I will clean it off on their on his tunic.
Thank you.
Wait, what were you doing here? Misguided believers in the dark dragon.
The giant one of those, the giant one. He took William and took him into the tunnels. We had to go get him. William's got to work tomorrow.
When they say the giant one of those, who are they pointing at?
It's a lizard. It's a lizard crewman. The lizardfolk crewman. What was William our guy?
No.
No, our guy was Matthew.
Yes.
Matthew.
Do they purposely have really generic names?
I mean,
the higher your challenge rating goes, the better name you're allowed.
Yeah.
I subscribe to that same theory.
He was Matthew the Bull. He'd be like 2 CR. He'd be real good.
I mean, Ixidor always a problem with those human names anyway. Matthew.
And as soon as you get an apostrophe in your name, boom, that's a class level.
Yeah, definitely. How many? Do you have more than one capital letter? You have a challenge rating for every capital letter. Bonus one for an apostrophe or other form of punctuation.
There is a part of me that wants to write a scenario that literally does that. Like, and see how long it takes people to realize the NPCs, the later, more powerful NPCs have got these just ridiculously long names.
That's very much in keeping with the ideas of Kobold Take My Baby. So I'm 100% on board. Perfect sense. So which tunnel did William go down? No, Matthew. Whatever that one's name was.
Matthew slipped out while you guys were in kind of the prep for fighting and moving forward. So you have no direction to know. You assume that he probably went to the surface.
No. I'm asking this guy about William.
Oh, okay.
I just am, bad with human names.
Gotcha. Well, no, we were following the scaly tracks. The scaly tracks into there, and he kind of gestures with his head into I think a half collapsed archway. But it's been half collapsed for a really long time. If it's gonna shift, it's gonna shift because somebody does something stupid.
We're here just in time to do something stupid.
It doesn't look treacherous. It would look treacherous if there was a dude standing next to it with a sledgehammer. You'd be like, don't do that, Bob. But yeah,
and they never came back out.
No, that's when we were set upon by these other scalies, fake dragons. He spits in his general direction.
Oh, I bonk him.
They would be, in fact, closer to dragons than you are.
Yeah, I just Yoda style with
Only
the bonking embraces.
Mine.
Only because we haven't been allowed to ascend yet. We will. We'll ascend long before they do.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So we have two groups of commoners now, basically, right, under our care.
effectively.
under our care.
And the lizard ones are majority unconscious. The one is still conscious.
And he's starting to tend to his friends and kind of rousing them, like, "Hey, you okay?"
Okay. And minus Ixidor knowing that the dragon cultists are bad news, I don't think any of the other ones of us have any real knowledge of Tiamat or Takhisis.
Unless somebody wants to start throwing some hot religion action.
No, so Grazakh definitely does not want to do that.
I almost definitely don't. Let me double check. Yep, no. I have no reason to know anything about it.
Lassiter, go ahead and make that religion. Because I know where you're from. Take advantage on it, because there is a particular story from a long time ago that
Okay.
you may have been told as a child in order to keep your toes in the bed covers.
I'll take a stab at it.
Okay.
All right, so I got a 15 plus 1 is 16.
This whole Mother of Dragons thing, Tiamat, is a very real entity. And when you were young, it's the kind of story that they would say, on one day out of the year, you leave 5 different colored, like you and your friends would gather rocks and paint the rocks the 5 colors of dragons and leave them on your doorstep to keep Tiamat away.
Okay. I relay that information that, where I'm from, Tiamat is a known entity amongst the pantheon of gods, to include dragons, and this was a ritual that we performed as an annual event to prevent, as kids, I don't know, as kids to not
grown-ups don't really pay much attention to it. It's more of a
right, until Tiamat's on their door, right?
Yeah.
So I got a 16, and I know I'm from that sphere.
Well, you're from Shard Space. You're from Eberron.
I thought I was from Kryn Space.
No, you were found in Kryn Space.
Okay.
Because Warforged were created in Eberron.
Well, most were forged.
Your programming says that there is no mother of dragons. There were 3 dragons, and they were the celestial dragons that created everything. And this is obviously some kind of translation issue that has gone from one sphere to the next. Because you do understand that people have traveled back and forth. Especially recently, you met the Arcane, and he made it seem like they've planted cultural seeds all over the place. Who knows? Maybe some of this religious dichotomy was on purpose.
Purposely creating a Tower of Babel situation.
Yeah, maybe, or for the people who do believe in her, maybe it's an effort to keep her from getting too strong.
With power.
If you can keep a couple of the spheres from worshiping her,
Sure.
by not knowing that she exists, it creates a safe space. Safe space.
Now, Fontelius, whose ship do we believe he's being held captive on? The Lizardman ship?
Well,
So he was working. He got grabbed by them, and he's been working, sort of pressed into service as a specialist for the captain.
yes.
And when they were out here last time, he got grabbed by the
cultists,
right.
And when the Hullgnasher, when the crew of the Hullgnasher found out, when the captain found out that his specialist has been absconded with, he sent his bosun.
Okay.
That was what that paper said. He sent his bosun and a handful of other crewmates down to.
Who was the lizard man that had the accident with Grazakh and Lassiter?
The bosun.
The one that we killed.
The one that you killed? No, that was just a crewman.
Okay.
That's just a one of the mid-level, probably somebody who occasionally has to crack a whip.
Okay.
Shift supervisor.
Yeah.
So I just before I railroad anything by accident, our objective is to find this bosun, yeah?
Well, the commoners definitely want to find him because he was the one that was to, of anyone who's capable on our ship, anyone who's capable of bringing the captain back his prized expert, it would be Krut.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want to find the expert because we've been told two different things regarding the expert from Hasterix and the various groups. And theoretically, Hasterix is our cartographer.
Correct. And if the Arcane told you that in order to get your chosen, to get the chosen people involved, you needed the cartographer.
Go find the bosun, yeah?
Yeah.
The commoners
Put out
the commoners look at the cultists and gesture. What are we to do? Zissix wanted us to kill them all.
Listen up. I'm in charge now. You're my new minions. Lizard, tadpole, salamander. I'm the boss now. Till we find Crit or whatever, you're looking at the boss.
They all
these dum-dums, kick them to the curb. We're going to go find this bigger lizard.
They go, we understand that, but they all show you their bracelets of possession. We'll do what you say, but we belong to the captain.
Yeah, we'll fix that too. You're part of my crew now, right, guys? Good.
You mentioned that you're just bravado of no, you're part of my crew now. If they could pale, they would. Their pupils get huge. They start looking at each other, like they're waiting for something awful to happen.
Time to work. Let's go. Cut them loose. You guys, okay, sorry.
In badly accented Draconian, for the people who know Draconian, one of them...
Just me, right?
I think Lassiter might know it. I don't remember. Do you know Draconian?
I know a lot of things.
Do I know Draconian?
As a language?
I know Common and Gith Yankee, or Gith.
Gith is the weird one for you, okay.
Yeah.
So in badly accented Draconian, one of the commoners looks at the other and goes, "We're doing this for the captain, right? Not him." Like, and like they're rubbing their bracelet, it's you can tell they are terrified of the concept of jumping.
Of doing something right. Yeah, the Ixidor in his very, very good Draconian or Draconic says, yes, this is all in support of your captain.
Thank you.
I'm going to give Ixidor a big pat on the back. Thanks for letting him know. I didn't think they understood him.
Yes.
And
I climb up into the sack on your back.
Good to have one friend around here. Yeah.
They start to cutting bonds on the cultists, they're being forceful enough with their little knives of like cutting the ropes that the cultists don't immediately start to try and fight back or anything. It's very much all right, fine, you're armed and we're not, so
I'll actively menace while my crew's working. Let them know.
Well, my crew is working. All right, yeah. So that they give themselves free of their ropes, and the one that was the smart cultist who had now the blue smear from where you touched him, looks out at you guys and goes, "If you can save William, he's my cousin, and it'd be nice if he could, make it to work tomorrow."
Where do you work?
We both work at the Salt House.
We excel at saving people. Very good at it, two of us. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, like, we take care of meat, and we cure a lot of meat for travelers. I really, I mean, he's my brother's kid, and I mean, we're all worshippers of she whose wings will encompass the world. I mean, it's how we'll. I mean, we're all going to eventually become greater than this, but right now.
I put my hand on his shoulder to stop his talking and look at him and say, "Our intentions are not towards undue casualties."
I got 80 pounds of fish. That's a lot for one guy. So it'd be nice if he was there to help out. I mean, we got to make a living. Until, yeah.
So we're going to the tunnel.
All right.
Going down tunnel.
Okay. And so are you taking any of the lizard commoners with you, or?
Yeah, I'm their boss now. What don't they understand about that?
A lot, apparently. So the cultists, they scatter. They find bolt holes to disappear in as soon as they can. But the kind of lizardmen kind of staying around for a few minutes, waiting to kind of see what you want of them.
Let's go.
Okay. They'll look at Ixidor.
Yeah, tell them.
Let's go.
Tell them.
Right. And one of them, he was standing up a little taller than the other three. He's the one that's kind of been their mouthpiece. This frill stands just a little taller than the others. He goes, in the name of the Hullgnasher, let's do this.
Oh, yes.
Get it a new name, probably. We'll figure that out.
And into the somewhat dark of the tunnel system under the broken quarter.
Dark vision.
Who here has dark vision?
I think
do.
Oh, but you guys have cast some light spells and things, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I can actually.
I will. So Typhon, as soon as we walk in and it's dark, Typhon will step forward and like a blade snaps out of his forearm and it lights up the whole room. It's it lights it up for a 30-foot radius.
Do you want us to get eaten by Umber Hulks? That's how you get eaten by Umber Hulks. Never been down here before.
That's what you want.
I can cast light at will.
Okay. Well, you have to find will before you can cast it in. Boom.
Oh shit.
Chris like, nope, I'm done. All right. So into the tunnel. Who is in the front of this Sheboygan?
I am currently riding shotgun on Grazakh.
my minions, obviously.
Ixidor, tell him go forward. Boss needs him to scout ahead. Stay in vision. Yeah.
All right.
It can understand you.
I don't think they can.
I would prefer to
I
be
don't think they can.
closer to the center or rear of the party.
Same.
Yeah.
Squishy's in the back.
Fair enough. So the cultists kind of spread forward. Or not cultists, sorry, the commoners, the lizard commoners. They spread forward, and they're kind of like licking the air. They're doing the snake thing. One of them's a little closer down to the ground, looking for tracks. And they're going to make collective survival rolls to try and track their buddy,
Nice.
who is not hard to track because he's got big old feet.
I will also take a stab at that.
Does he move like a Gorn?
Oh, wow.
Or Slee Stack.
19.
Yeah, Slee Stack.
That is the literally the third completely unrelated reference to a Slee Stack this week in my life.
All right, I had one this week as well.
Weird.
I mean, that's
Now we
weird.
all
A lot
have.
of flea stack going on.
Brings us all
Now
together.
we all have. Sleeve stack solidarity. It's the name of their culture.
Flea stack solidarity.
Sleeve stack solidarity.
I definitely saw them open for Minor Threat in DC in the mid-90s.
Oh, and then there we go.
Nice.
Rick's just got like a collection of one-off minis that he wants to show everybody.
Right?
It's working.
He's been preparing for this session. He's like, oh, I've got a mini for that.
I got one. Here we go. All right. So, and then
If we were playing an all-plush version of Star Wars, I would have minis for that. But
Typhon, you are also up front to help shed light on the situation.
Correct.
Which the lizard cultists are actually really thankful for. It does not look like they have dark vision. So they, you're shining the light kind of down the hallway, and they're searching things out. When one of them like kind of pops up and down in place to get your attention.
I had a 19 for my roll, so if I can try and supervise him and bark at him,
You have no trouble. You have no trouble finding the same stuff they do. There are big, four-clawed lizard, like reptilian footprints, like almost like crocodile feet, except longer. And in the middle of it, there are definite drag marks where a tail is kicking back and forth between those footprints.
and
You are headed in the right direction.
one of them stumbles on that and jumps up and down.
You're number one now. Good job. Keep going.
I'm number one.
Praise helps your minions work.
Yeah.
Is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah, because he's number one now. You got 2 and 3. Good stuff.
I need. What is everybody's passive perception?
11.
I love that sound.
Oh,
That collective groan.
15.
13.
I don't notice as much as I investigate.
Fair enough.
Just
What
like
was
the
your-
real
What
world.
was yours, man?
13.
Mine's pretty good. Mine's
Manon.
a 15.
Clover, what was yours?
Oh,
11.
Wow, okay. Yeah. So
I am not a wisdom character.
just up ahead, Typhon. I'm looking at you, realizing that you don't know that.
You're like, I'm looking right at you.
Looking right at you. Just up ahead, where the tunnel kind of starts to break off, almost like an apartment complex. Like there's several smaller tunnels. It's at some point this tunnel had led into a building that had been previously buried. So it's now almost like a dungeon. And dragons.
oh, we got one.
I saw where that was going.
Brian, minus 50.
But you can tell like the tunnel goes from like kind of that broken cement, broken stone to suddenly like if you've ever seen like pictures of Pompeii, where like you can tell that's a wall, but it's been buried under a bunch of shit for a long time. And like you might see a mosaic on the ceiling, that sort of thing. But up ahead, there's multiple doors, like as if like an apartment, like multiple individual doors. And then down at the end, Typhon, you actually can tell, you can see, it looks like this, maybe the outline of a person tucked up into the rafters.
I will give coordinates to the rest of my teammates. I will say, there is a possible target at 3 o'clock, or whatever is appropriate for his.
Anybody who wants to kind of peer down and take a closer look, that will require a perception test DC 14.
Oh, that's a good one too. I got a 19 again.
So you'll see what he's talking about. And now you do have dark vision.
Yes.
Also got a 19. You can't see that, but that's a 19 plus 1, so that's 20.
Culvert.
Yeah.
I critical.
rolled a 1. I rolled a 1, so apparently I have fallen asleep
It's a 20.
in Grazakh's bag.
Look at that. Look at that. Everybody's got their dice. You don't have to show me. I trust you.
Yeah.
Because we're all friends here. So for the people who have dark vision and made the 14, there is a human person that is like almost fetal between a slightly collapsed archway and the ceiling. Like there was just enough of a gap where like the archway to a door fell that he could kind of shove himself up there, and he's sort of fetally tucked in.
How high is the ceiling here?
8 feet.
Is it a child or is it a person?
You call it a human. Like a person, an adult male.
Okay. I will advance on his position.
Okay.
Try and get the lizard's attention and be like, hold.
They are noticing that the tracks have changed, and that what they believe must have been Krut is now walking on all fours. Because they point out a bunch of handprints, and that dude's got mitts. If those are Krut's hands, he's got big old claw-tipped mitts.
Does he look?
There's 2 doors on each side of the hallway leading to that person at the end.
Is anybody good at nature-y stuff?
There's a couple. What'd you say, Rick?
There's 2 doors on each side that are before we even get to that guy at the end of the hall. Correct?
Yeah, basically there's 2, like as if there was like a room on either side of your this corridor, and then down at the end there's a collapsed doorway where he's tucked up into the top, and then the tunnel goes around.
Has anybody investigated the tunnel for like signs of other life? Like if somebody is cowering in a corner, that makes me think that something has caused that person to cower in a corner.
Go ahead and give me nature rolls. It'd be a solid reason to look around for signs of other creepy crawlies.
Nope.
I got a 20.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm probably just investigating the tracks. I think Typhon's already moved, like he's going to grab the fetal position.
All right. As far as the tracks go, aside from the big thing going down on all fours, which it also gives you a pretty good scope of how long his torso must be, like from where his back feet are resting and the front paws, hands are. He's probably from shoulder to hip at least 7 or 8 feet.
Oh, he's all tail. Tiny.
Is that normal for a lizard?
No, that's a big lizard.
He's huge.
That's a very big lizard.
Would Grazakh know that? Would that be something?
You know what? Go ahead and either do nature or history. Either way is fine.
A 6, so no.
Yeah, you probably didn't run across too many non-abnormal lizard men.
But I can judge that he's bigger than me.
Yeah, you know that he's bigger than you.
I will definitely start making comments.
So he's not that big, though. He's just above average, maybe.
He's above average. So, man, you actually find several signs of like a couple of scales that have kind of like popped off as something dragged through here. And they are more smooth and scalloped, like a lizard, rather than like the big sharp ones you find on like the side of a dragon or something along those lines. Definitely seeming more like a natural scale that might just got like popped off because it rubbed up against a rock, not because somebody's molting or anything weird. The other thing that you do see, you said you had 20?
Yeah.
That you find quite a few signs of that make you kind of raise, like one of those, doesn't smell like it down here, but you see a lot of the basically like rot grub eggshells. Something. There's no carrion down here. You haven't found any rotten meat or anything, but you're finding signs of very voracious, effectively like almost magic maggots. They're bigger than normal maggots, and you're finding signs of them, but nothing for them to eat, which is a little off-putting.
Yeah, I bring the scales over to Ixidor and I point out everything that I noticed, because he seems the most likely to be able to put this together.
I cast detect magic
On
these things.
no, all natural.
Well, I mean, there's that.
Nope, no magic detected here.
No preservatives, no artificial flavors.
Would this be a nature roll to see if I know anything about it?
Yep. And while he's doing that, who's walking over to the dude who crumpled up in the front?
I just rolled a 20. 20 plus 2. 22.
All right. We're going to get to you in a second as he walks over to the shoved up body. Typhon, as you approach, I would like you to make a perception test. This is as you draw nearer and the light kind of gets, so it's not a shadowy light, but it's a legit like bathing this dude in light.
Okay. Okay. 24.
24. Okay.
I notice all.
You do. Well, and actually you notice quite a bit more than I was anticipating. So the dude who's crumpled up in the kind of wall, like, not, it's really not like an attic. Like it's just sort of a wedge. Like it's a space in the wall that has been kind of pried out.
A crawl space.
Except it doesn't look like it goes back very far. It looks like it's maybe just
an alcove.
That's perfect. That's a great word. It's an alcove. He has his back to you. So you can see like the edges of his elbows, the bottoms of his feet. He's curled into a fetal position. You can see kind of the curvature of his spine. And on a 24, you can tell that he is. It looks like he's breathing. Like he's just real slow and steady. Almost, and he's covered in dust, and like he's rolling around in the dirt. Maybe like he's trying to hide.
Does he look like he's wearing robes like the cultists, or is he wearing different clothes?
That could be a robe. I think it would be a little easier to tell if his legs were extended, but that's probably a robe.
Okay.
Also with your 24, one of the lizard men cultists is, as you walk past, tries to show you something.
Wait, you mean one of the lizardmen crewmen?
God damn it! Yes.
Yeah, whenever you say, I'm like, there's cultists here too.
All right, no, too many C's and little guys. Why didn't you kill them all like I thought?
I tried.
And like, but they'd stop my murders, please.
Well, if we had killed them all, instead, what we would be saying is, "Oh, wait a minute! I thought we killed them all."
Fair enough. No, one of the commoners, one of the lizard folk. He's trying to get your attention as you walk by to show you something.
Okay, so I will take a step back from the figure and I will look at whatever the lizard man wants me to look at.
Give me a nature check.
A nature check.
He is trying to show you a handful of. It looks like onion, like almost like onion wrapper.
13. I'm not so great at nature.
Yeah, he's got a fistful of like papery onion wrappers.
Does it look like maybe shed skin?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's real thin and crispy, and he's like, careful.
About what?
Like, they blow off into the breeze. He's like, be careful. We are, and then goes back to start looking for clues.
Okay. I'm going to reach out with my, because the blade is in my right hand, so I the blades on my right hand. I'm going to reach out and poke the figure that's hiding in the alcove.
All right. So you like. I require a dexterity saving throw from you.
Okay.
As you realize that the breathing that you saw wasn't really breathing so much as that whole backside of his person was moving.
I crushed that. I got a 20, and I have a +4 to that.
So
It's a nat 20.
You poke it, and it's like putting your finger in a Jello mold. You go,
Ew.
oh, that's not supposed to happen, and
Right.
you pull back very quickly.
He seems super dead.
Super dead. You pull back very quickly, and the hole that your finger left, little white rock grubs start going. Do you have, as a warforged, any kind of
Flame weapon? Let me check.
any kind of protection against disease?
I have protection against poison. I don't think I can get disease.
Yeah, because he's a monk.
Hang on once. Yeah, I don't think I can get disease, and because of I don't think I can get diseased or poison. But let me double check.
Right. Double check on that, because that is a difference between what
I am
rock grub
immune.
does.
I am immune to disease.
Okay, you're the perfect person to do this. So these little angry 2-inch long, semi-translucent grubs that have got little lamprey faces are like falling out of this dude as he's sort of deflating, and they're just attacking your feet. Like they're just like super angry at your feet
I
for
will.
about 1 second,
Okay.
because then they realize that you aren't made of meat, and then they all just sort of like start like dancing around and start kind of looking for a hidey hole to go and
So
'cause
I will-
no one else is near you.
So noticing that, I will sort of like rotate at the waist and look at my party, and rotate back from the waist and go, "These are a danger," and then I will stomp on them.
Okay. We are not going to need to worry about rolling a bunch of dice for you to smash the rot swarm,
I
because
assume.
for the sheer fact that they can't hurt you, they can scratch up your shiny finish, and that's about it. But yeah, it takes roughly 2 rounds to empty the body.
A lot of
And-
slugs.
Gross. Mop it up.
and you stomp. You're making maggot wine, and
Making maggot wine. Oh God.
Ixidor, I need you to construct me a flame projector that I can.
and when it is completely deflated, it's no longer wedged in the alcove, so
Yep.
it kind of rolls out at your feet. And it's a human body in robes with green face paint on. Now very muddy and dirty. The face it looks like it had seen better days before the rock grubs. Like someone had smushed it. Like it was all kind of smushed together, kind of like imagine if someone was trying to grab all of your holes and mush them into one spot.
Like a California raisin?
Yeah, there you go.
Gross.
That's kind of what you're looking at.
Is there anything in the alcove?
There's just a couple of random rock grubs.
Okay. So I will back up, and I will tell the party there is a deceased cultist who is full of grubs. I have solved the grub problem.
I wonder if it was the cousin to the one that was. Is this William?
Yeah, I call back and check the pockets.
All right, you take a deep breath, because it is ripe. Rock grubs smell bad before they have a meal. These have been feasting for hours, days.
I thought they smelled bad
On the
outside.
Gross.
So you rifle through the pockets. You need an investigation roll with disadvantage because you don't really feel like getting a whole lot of nasty on you.
Would that be me, or would that still be Typhon? Because
I can if
you're going through the pockets,
if you instruct me to empty his pockets, I'll empty his pockets.
I was instructing you to do it because I'm still.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
I'm not going anywhere near those things.
Typhon I'll just grab the robe and like rip the pockets open.
Oh, all right. A handful of copper instruments pop out that look like there's like an awl, a spoon with wooden handles, 6 silver pieces.
Everything a cultist needs.
Oh, and a little pot of green grease paint.
Oh, you need some grease paint.
Yeah, like a little clay pot that's half used.
That's I'm assuming I do like both pockets. I'll check the inside the robe for like an inside pocket.
Yeah, he's got some tools, the grease paint, and the
So I will hand Manon here's all the stuff.
Now, Manon, you are proficient in alchemy, aren't you? Alchemist skit, the herbalist skit.
I think so. Hold on. Where is that?
It'll be under your rando proficiencies.
I don't.
You might
think
not
so.
be. I don't remember.
I'm not. I've got the dice set and vehicles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're just a handful of weird copper tools that were all kind of wrapped up in a oiled leather wrapper, for lack of a better term.
So I was standing in the rear as well, near Manon. When she's given the tools and the kit and everything, does it have a salt smell?
There's crust all over it, yeah.
Salt crust?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably our guy.
Yeah.
These look to be the tools of someone who cures meat.
Someone who handles rock salt.
Mm-hmm.
That now makes more sense to me.
Ixidor, in Draconic, the lizard men are whispering to each other. Please give me a perception test.
Perception?
Yep.
These guys better not be getting froggy.
Oh, we'll fix that.
Oh, wait, that's amphibian.
I rolled an 8 plus 1, 9.
Yeah, there's just basically they've huddled with as people are like dealing with the grubs and whatever, they've kind of huddled together and are, hiss back and forth. And when they see your ears perk up, they look away and then start looking around the ground again.
Which one didn't report the sheddings to me and showed them Typhon instead?
Number 3.
Oh, I'm going to go over, give him a dull wallop, be like,
You report to me first. Number 1, you're in charge of him.
No.
Where do you go, Gavin? Now, don't make me have him tell me.
But he's the one that came to, he was.
Tell me.
Me.
Anything else to say?
Yes.
You're gonna get eaten by Grubs or whatever else is down here. Bears. I don't know. Report to me.
That's probably that was Krut's doing.
That was Krut's doing.
Elaborate.
It was
Elaborate.
one prisoner was always used as a farm, and then we would send it back to the other ship, often by trebuchet.
As a farm?
Biological warfare?
Krut always has a bag full of worms with him.
Gross.
I gesture at the distance between the handprints and the footprints, and say, Is that accurate to Krup's size?
Not that big.
They kind of look, and one of them lays down, and like another one lays down next to him, so like nose to foot, and the first one goes, "Yeah, that's about right."
Okay. Just want to make sure there's not a large surprise.
I thought Krut was a lizard man.
He's
A lizard person.
He's one of the finest.
He's gonna be one of the deadest.
One of the
We're here to save him and the captain's.
I'll save people with worms and whatever that is. Not looking good for Krut. You got a new boss. Right at the door.
So do we think that this was Krut's? Krut would have given worms, would have put rock grubs in, like...
Shoves people full of worms.
Apparently, this is something the lizard men. They say that this is something he's done before.
And that body had to have gotten wedged in the alcove somehow.
Effectively, it looks.
If it was 8 feet up, I'm guessing that the lizard guy that we're Truck's character is was able to just kind of go grubs, stuff.
Grubs.
Yep, just put it on the upper shelf later.
I think that is going to be the name of today's episode. Grubs.
Oh, no.
Unless something else cooler happens, it's going to be grubs.
Do we want to check these 2 doors before we continue forward? Because obviously he continued forward.
Yes.
All right. Would you, the number 1 looks at Grazakh and goes, "Should we continue forward and continue looking forward, or would you like us to stick around here by the doors?"
Things are gonna get ugly soon. When I tell you, you run. Come back to town and find you. If you ain't where I'm looking, it's gonna be real bad. Understand me?
Yes, sir.
For now, we're here.
All right, so they gather up near the doors wherever you guys happen to be.
Okay.
That's okay.
All
right, so what's the word?
What are you guys' thoughts on stacking up on the door and letting the lizardmen roll in first? And
I am all for letting the lizardmen go in first.
Minions
set
have
the lizardmen away.
No, he prepared the lizardmen to run away.
Oh.
Typhon says that he's perfectly happy going through a door.
I like doors.
I like doors.
He sort of looks at the party and sort of does the whole, like, you can hear like the whirring sound. He's like, "It's just a door."
There's no evidence of this door.
Zero hostility detected from this door.
I just got it. Then go ahead.
Like matte finish, right?
So yeah, he's matte. He has chrome. His when he's in normal mode, his face is like a high polish. It's like that. Again, the closest thing I think of is like the gladiator mask. It looks like it's like a sculpted human face. That's like high polish.
Okay. Turn back to number 1.
Things are gonna get hairy. I'm gonna have Chrome Dome here investigate the door.
I'm gonna take out a gold, put it in his hand. I was like,
Go buy yourself some pickles. I'll see you back in town.
I like the fact that you just clarified that his face was chromy, just so you call him Chrome Dome.
They bugger off. They're
so the lizardmen are gone.
They're like, we're out of here. And in fact, in Draconic, as they are scampering away, so Ixidor, you'll hear this pretty easily, that they're like, "Yo, let's get to the boat. Krut's gonna kill them all."
So as soon as while
I
that
pass that piece of information along.
as soon as Manon says go ahead, I like Typhon opens the door and goes in. Is it like a normal door?
It's not much of a door anymore. like there's like pieces of door sort of hanging on the frame, and you almost kind of have to like.
Oh, then I'll just smash through it.
Yeah, like these are not actual apartments, and they've rotted away, and they've definitely have seen worse, or they've seen better days. The room, left side or right side of the room? No, the hallway.
Manon, pick one, whichever one you point at.
Okay. Left side of the room, the left side of the hallway. You guys smash through the door. There's a bunch of old furniture that is not furniture anymore. It is mold that is held together by the original furnishings, like leather straps. You're pretty sure that if you walk over and touch it, it's going to go and just kind of collapse. There is a cupboard, like a what is that? Not a cabinet.
Curio.
Curio, thank you. Over to the side that looks like it's in relatively for being old and beat up. The wood has held up pretty well, so it must have been of a decent quality to begin with. There is some kind of animal skin rug that has long since turned into wisps of gross embedded into the stone floor, but it's vaguely in the shape of an animal, so you know that it was at one point some kind of fur rug. Now it's just
pile of teeth.
Now it's mostly just a stain that has some hard bits.
Is there anything in the curio?
That would require you to go open the curio. The back part of the room, like so, the room goes back. The ceiling has collapsed down, and basically the rear part of the room is completely buried.
I'll go over to the curio. What am I rolling?
What would you like to investigate it further, or are you just basically open the doors?
I'll just open the doors. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just open the doors.
Yeah. So you pull the opens. One of the hinges pops because it hasn't opened in a long time. So like the door kind of hangs off on one side, but the wood holds up. Like you're actually there's a little part of you that's like, oh, this is actually structurally sound, other than the completely rusted out hinges. Inside, the cloud of moths like just immediately engulfs your head and flies out past your face. But there's just a ton of old moth-eaten clothing and one shawl.
One shawl?
Yeah. Like a lady's shawl that seems utterly uneaten by moths.
That seems unusual. I will take that. Is there anything else in the curio?
Moth shit.
Then I will leave that. I will take the shawl out and hand it to Manon.
I don't think I have detect magic.
I will say everything else is destroyed or has succumbed to the entropy of time.
When you handed it to her, was it on like a hanger, or did you just pull it off the hanger and hand her the cloth?
Is the hanger still together?
The hanger's metal.
I'll take it out of the hanger.
Okay.
And I will make a point of saying this is the only thing that is not damaged beyond repair.
Yeah. So I also only touch the hanger and not the actual cloth.
The hanger is basically a bunch of at this point super oxidized copper.
Yeah. I'm trying to not touch the cloth because it's obviously magic of some sort, and I'm hoping it's not cursed. So I bring it over to
the cursed shawl of nannying.
I bring
You
it over to
immediately give up
Ixidor.
adventuring and become a nanny for some family somewhere.
It's a great subplot.
He can
Grand shawl of devouring.
identify it at all.
Well, I can't cast identify, but I can cast detect magic at will, so I can do that.
Yeah. When you get it out of the curio and more where it has a chance to kind of shake it a little bit, so it sort of undoes itself. It's almost like although it is a shawl, it's very finely woven lace. Like it's definitely for show. This would not keep the elements away. And one would never wear this to cover anything. Because it is a like almost like a spider web style lace. Very thin,
I know what it is. I know what it is.
very gossamer. And when it kind of unfurls a little bit, it sort of opens out a little, and it has got like little like tassels at the ends, like little dainty bits. It's really pretty. Like it's shiny. Like it sparkles in his light spell. Yes, it is definitely magic.
So I get to know what school of magic.
Transmutation.
Transmutation. So SpiderCon does seem potentially in play.
And as you look at it, it actually gives off a stronger aura than a lot of the stuff that you looked at recently, with the exception of like the phlogiston, where you were going.
Yeah, I would say I did just recently stare into the heart of pure beating magic. So everything seems a little mundane. I also met a dragon centaur, so there's that. It appears to be a magical item, obviously.
Oh. Well, I want to keep it.
Keep it.
I'm just trying to figure out, do I have a bag? I have a backpack. I'm going to open my backpack and ask Typhon to like shimmy it in without touching it, so that it's in the bag but not touching anybody.
I put it in the bag after I put it on.
Like,
We use Typhon like a bomb disposal robot.
all right, so
Grazakh are just like mine now. Thank you.
go ahead and give me just a basic dex check to see if you can shimmy it into her backpack without just taking it off the thing.
Like acrobatics or just dexterity?
Just dex. You're not like doing parallel bars and stuff.
9.
Yeah, like you start doing the shimmy and it kind of gets wadded up down to the bottom, and like it's like you're trying to get a scarf in a Pringles can. Like you're like, okay, come on, let's do this. And so at some point you will have to just sort of like grab your finger and go, come on, get in there.
That's fine. I'll touch it. I'm not worried about it.
Okay, when you touch it, it's like the fabric wants to hold on to you. Like you know how trying to like throw away cellophane sometimes. Yep. We're like, get off my fingers. It's that, except the threads. Individual threads are like, no, but I like your finger.
Okay. It doesn't like pull me into the bag or wrestle me to the ground, I'm assuming?
No. I mean, it's not. It's not at all.
Mine's like, cool. Roll new characters. You're all. You found the end boss.
Altogether unpleasant feeling.
The scarf.
The shawl of death.
The shawl of doom. You found the end boss.
Proud of Vecna.
Vecna's going out and about sweater. It's made of 100% death cashmere.
Nice. The worst kind of cashmere.
Made from the goats of the abyss itself.
This is another good gimmick. We're onto something here.
The shawl of Vecna?
Death feta. It's the cheese from the goats that shall not be named.
So good.
All right. So you now have this shawl tucked away in your backpack. If this is a magic item that requires attunement, it will not be attuned to you until after you wear it for a short rest. So just having it tucked away in your backpack ain't gonna cut it.
Yep, but I don't know if I want to attune to it until I know what it is.
Right now, it is in store.
Yep.
And that's pretty much all that's in this collapse room.
And then there's a second room across the hall, right?
Yep.
Stack them up, lizards.
They're gone.
They're gone. They took off when Grazakh gave them their walking papers.
Yeah, I'll amble over the next room though.
Nothing for me taking all the pretty stuff. Let's go.
All right. This door is a little more substantial. It actually looks like you might need to give it a shoulder to open it. Because just walking up and kind of giving it a rattle, the frame has been sort of twisted a little, so it's not gonna open. It's like the door is jammed. So go ahead and give me an athletics roll.
Ixidor's still in my bag, right?
Yep.
Gonna need to put your weight in this one, buddy.
I got an 18 plus 5, so that'd be 23.
Ixidor, I would like you to make an athletics or an acrobatics test to avoid being the door wedge as he puts his shoulder into the door.
I am +2 on that.
It's not hard. Like he
I
rears back and you're
rolled
like,
4.
no.
I rolled a 2 +2.
Oh no.
Go ahead and take 1 point of bashing damage as you kind of squash the kobold between you and the door. The door still opens. Like, it's not a failure by any stretch of the imagination. But you did kind of sort of stress test your kobold.
A lot stronger than you look. Good job.
On the other side of that door, there is, it looks like a full like bedroom, except where the middle of the floor, the planks in the middle of the floor, it's completely collapsed out. If you would have run, if the door was not jammed and you just would be like, all right, I'm gonna open this door, and Lassiter, you run in and deal with the problems. It would be 3 or 4 steps before they go, whoa. So you smash open the door and you can see, there's a couple of pieces of furniture, everything's in disrepair, but then there's this giant 20-foot wide hole where the planks have rotted out. And it goes down probably, if you look over, you can guess maybe 30 feet, and you can see water.
You can see water?
Yeah.
No.
A light green, very algae thick sort of collection pool.
I didn't actively look before I opened the door. Did it seem like the door was forced shut, or like it just been?
No, it was just naturally warped shut.
Okay.
Or the druids did it.
Bum, bum, bum.
I like blaming druids for things.
So it's a bedroom, and there's a big hole in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But it's big enough to where we can skirt around the hole and survey the space, right?
The heavier folks, Typhon, may be concerned about those boards giving way on the edge.
Okay. Then I'll just let them know, like, hey, I got this one, guys, and man, and machine, and lizard. And I go in to do the funky investigation space.
All right. Inside the messed up bedroom area, there is a desk on the opposite wall. There is a closet door, or at least a door that's a small. Doesn't look like there's a locking doorknob. It's just like a door handle. So you would assume it's a closet. If it goes to another room, it's very unsafe.
Okay.
There is no bed in the bedroom. You assume that probably
Fell into the water.
At some point was too heavy for the boards and went down.
Mm-hmm.
There is a toppled over chair next to the desk, and another curio, very similar to one across the hall, that's attached to the far side of the wall.
Okay.
Pushed up against it.
So I'll investigate the desk first, see if there's anything of note there. Any?
Go ahead and give me a base acrobatics check to scoot along the edges to avoid hitting any loose boards.
All right. So my acrobatics, I've got a wonderful +3, and so I'm a big fan of making myself look foolish. I rolled a 6, so a 9.
All right. It's not hard. Again, you're literally just, as long as you take your time, you just sort of like you when a board creaks, you back off and you step over that board. Like it is really, this was not a very difficult one.
All right. So I apologize for the time consumption that this is going to take.
No, not at all. Eventually you get over the desk. From your vantage point, by the way, as you kind of walk around, How are you seeing anyway?
With my eyes.
You have dark vision?
God no, I'm a human.
Yeah, so do you have a torch? Is someone giving you some light assistance?
I'm guessing that Typhon probably put away his light source at this point, huh?
No, I have an
Typhon, your life. Look at that. It's got dark already.
I was gonna say your room is getting dark though.
Grazakh will spell her out instructions as he missteps.
Oh, don't step there.
If you're going into a dark place,
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
yes. Another thing that I can do is make things, light up. So
All right.
I will pick up a thing and pick up a rock and make it light, and then toss it into the room.
Okay. And your passive perception was 13, wasn't it?
Who's mine?
Yeah, Lassiter.
No, mine is 12.
12. All right. Then yeah, you actually need I will need a perception test out of you as you walk through the room and get to the desk.
So, as I'm more worried about falling into the hole, I'm not paying much attention to the. I got a 6.
Oh,
Plus, I think I have a +1. Wait. I think I have a +1.
Well, if you have
+2.
if you have a passive percent of 12, then you have 2. All right. Well, so you don't really notice anything out of the ordinary. You should be up to the desk.
Splash.
There is a rotten ledger that is you go to move a single page, and it's a mass of stuck together vellum. It's just
So it's a dirty book.
it's disgusting. The desk does have a drawer. You can tell because it's partially open. And there's a chair that's been kicked over next to it.
All right. So nothing of interest. Take a little peek in the drawer.
Take
Move
a
on.
peek in the drawer. Go ahead and give me a reflex or dexterity save.
Thank God. 17.
So when you open the drawer and the rat comes flying out and scurrying across, you jump back because it's like, that's my house, yo. It skitters away. It was more of a jump scare than anything else. But you were good. You saw it coming. You heard those little stumblies.
Okay. Nothing else of interest in the drawer besides the rat and his nest.
There is a rat's nest that's got there's no babies or anything in it, but it's a bunch of fur and various little detritus that has been gathered, and we will say 3 copper pieces.
3
that the rat had found and said, "All right, cool."
Well, I'll take them because they're probably not from my home world.
No, they're definitely not.
So we have a kind of a neat interest, and then I'll skirt around to the curio cabinet as best as I can without freaking and falling.
Give me another athletics roll this time, or acrobatics roll this time with advantage. This side of the board. Oh, yeah.
19.
You're good. These boards seem a little more sturdy. You can tell which side of the floor actually did the collapse.
Okay.
You're over next to the curio.
And begin the whole investigation of the event.
Give me another perception roll as you draw near to the curio.
14 plus 2.
You are very focused on the curio, and you're like, all right, I'm going to get close to it because you also don't want to use it as a counter support because it's a big heavy piece of furniture too. But you hear down in the pit, you hear a very light splashing.
Gross. I will kind of put my back to the wall next to the curio, and kind of lean forward to look down to see what might be causing that. And I tell everybody else, hey, I'm hearing some splashing in this pit. Stand by.
So you can see it looks like a shape that's probably swimming around. It is definitely long, longer than, it's not like a turtle. It's longer than it is wide because it's leaving curves in the algae.
Okay.
But you can't really see what it is because it's under a little layer of green.
Okay.
It's
I'm
a
not gonna-
Dianoga.
Yeah.
Does the eye come up and look around?
I'm going to put a little more attention back to the curio just to see if there's anything of interest here.
All right. You pop open the curio. Again, comes apart almost without any trouble. These are old people. They've been left to their own devices for quite a while. This one's got a whole bunch of moldy clothes in it, like the one that was across the way. But there is looks like maybe like a cigar style box down in the bottom of the curio.
Okay.
It looks. I mean, you wouldn't want to like grab the box and like shake it real hard. It looks like it would probably fall apart, but it is still a box. It hasn't fallen apart.
Right. So I'll take my dagger and just kind of see if I can flip the lid open.
Flip the lid.
Mhm.
There are 2 stacks of silver coins that have kind of mucus together. You're gonna have to do a little prying. They stuck to something gave these a lick.
Okay.
And a small tube, like if someone hollowed out a reed and put caps on both ends.
Okay. I will scoop pocket, and that's all that was of interest in the curio. I'm kind of like over this room now. It's already gave me a jump scare, saying there's a little something. I'm a snake down in the freaking thing. And I'm gonna just kind of like put my back up against the wall again and just kind of push that curio into the pit.
Oh, all right.
And
Yeah.
kind of shuffle around behind it towards the door.
Okay. Give me an athletics test to do it without falling with it.
10 plus my athletics.
It's not hard to keep your balance. It's just a matter of I was looking for a real bad screw up. Is really what it was coming down to.
Oh, a typical
Yeah,
Rick.
you kind of put your hand behind there and give it a shove.
Mhm.
Curio topples, head over heels and lands in the cess. It only when it hits the water and goes down maybe 3 feet.
Okay.
So the water is not very deep down there. You know what? Go ahead and make a ranged attack roll with disadvantage to see if you can hit the swimming thing with the curio.
I rolled a net, but I got a 12.
Oh, I was like, what? Really? Yeah. So it hits the thing. There's a water splash, and you can see it's some kind of eel. Like it's a smooth-bodied fish. It's got a very angry set of jaws in the front. That you didn't hit it, but you splashed enough water and algae away from it. You saw it pretty. You're like, nope, I don't want to get bit by that.
Yeah. That'd be my first thing. I will go beeline it to Grazakh because I have a feeling that this might be a delicacy for him, and say, hey man, big eel down there.
There's a water pickle.
You would eat. But I don't want to get near it.
Oddly enough, the first thought that went through my mind was I could potentially eat that.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
I'm pretty hungry. I'm gonna eat crud. It'll be all right.
It's one of those picklefish, right?
All right. So you're leaving the eel to its devices. You've written down the nasty silver in the tube.
I'm not.
Oh, you didn't. You left the silver.
No, I remember I said I scoop up the silver in the tube.
Okay.
I push it into the water, the curio. And I will look at, once I get out there, I'll investigate the tube in front of Manon and Ixidor, because I have a feeling they'd be more inclined to.
The two of you have no question whatsoever. You know exactly, like it's basically a tiny person's scroll tube.
Oh,
Tiny person's what?
Scroll tube. It's got a
I'll
scroll
give it
tube.
to Ixidor then and say, hey.
Like a my size, like a regular person, a regular sized person. Scroll tube.
One would say that like a halfling or a gnome just would be the right size for that.
It's little.
If it's a tiny scroll, I have no fear of it.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly sized for you.
Nice.
I will open the scroll tube. Is there a scroll in it?
There is a scroll in it. The only reason it has not rotten away is because it has a spell inscribed upon it.
Oh.
If you would like to make an Arcana check,
I would.
you can do so. And I need to look up the level of that spell to tell you the difficulty because I don't remember.
I rolled a natural 20, or as D&D Beyond likes to do it, a big, shiny, coloring-changing bee.
Really?
The D&D Beyond dice have a bee for the 20, and they pulse before the die disappears back into the paper.
Gotcha.
So that would be a 24.
Okay, we only need the 13. It is a spell of there is a scroll of remove curse.
Oh,
Good for having.
that sounds useful.
Especially if
I'm
someone,
pretty sure that that's already been asked. Is one of us cursed?
I mean, not yet, but there's that shock.
I'll say now I can put the shawl on.
I am going to write that down.
You're like, that's going to go in my pocket.
Seems like a thing that we may want to remember.
And you are surprising, like the actual like scroll tube itself.
Right.
If it is as old as the rest of the furniture and stuff is in the room, you'd be kind of surprised that it hasn't rotted away or that it didn't, like the leather caps didn't pop off. It's definitely been alchemically treated against the weather of time. So you can also write down the scroll tube.
Okay.
Just keep in mind that it'll be for scrolls that you write. Most scrolls you find are human size.
I mean, that makes sense.
All right, yeah, so you get back out into the hallway, and you can continue down to follow Krut's handprints down into the rest of the place. And you've taken a look at the two rooms, pilfered it as adventurers do, and where are you headed now? And how are you headed? As in, like, carefully.
You're gonna go back to that original marching order where Grazakh and Typhon are up front with Ixidor in someone's backpack and me and Manon in the back.
Yeah, Ixidor in the second backpack.
So yeah, Grazakh character-wise, like, I mean, I'm pretty convinced we gotta kill Krut.
I mean, I agree with that.
But and I'll probably voice that in a second. But when I start advancing forward, I'm gonna try and be as stealthy as possible and just working into the mindset like I'm gonna ambush this thing and just annihilate it.
Okay, all right.
So before I start down the hall, because I don't have minions now, so these are my primary group of people under my protection.
Krut seems like bad news. Lassiter, I think we're going to have to stab him.
I'm all about that. I actually have this sword for that purpose.
Follow me.
I'll crouch down and like an ambling, like kind of loping crawl.
Okay.
All along, try and take my time, make sure I keep on the tracks.
Give me a survival roll.
19 plus 1, 20.
You
survive.
You have no trouble following the same big kind. It almost you're smaller than he is, so you're kind of like following the same.
Don't say that.
You're following the same kind of motions as almost like you're playing Twister. Like right hand on right hand footprint. Like you're trying to follow that as you go through, so you don't lose track. But while you're doing that, you pass a scuffed up set of stones that you are like you're pretty sure that this looks like footprints, like booted footprints, human-sized footprints coming from the other direction and then turning around and heading back the way they came.
So that they did a 180 went back, whichever way.
So, like, from deeper in these tunnels, something walked this way, stopped on one of these stones, did a little scuffle dance, and then headed back the way they came.
Struggle, scuffle, or
Looks like maybe they didn't know what they were doing. It's not like they were being dragged. Like it was one of those Jim Belushi in Animal House. Like, down, where am I going? Where am I going?
Grazakh will use his universal.
Look here, human turned around with back.
So you're pointing like a poinsettia dog?
Yeah, no, yeah, he'll like kind of crouch over him.
Yep.
My dog does that.
I want Jake's dog to do that.
Yes.
You want to bark at stuff?
Your dog is adorable. All right.
I can get her.
No, it's okay.
If nobody gives any input, I'll keep moving forward.
Can we take a look? I'll come up with my super investigative skills and look closer at that space.
I'll say I do want to put an input that he does seem like bad news, and it seems like he doesn't need to survive, but we do need to talk to him first.
Oh,
This is a point of order.
If you want to get worms in you.
Okay.
I mean, well, remember, the whole point of this endeavor is to track down the navigator's friend who this guy either has or knows where he is.
Right, so we can find the navigator.
Right, and since we don't have that information, we should acquire said information.
Yeah, we kill him and then we take their ships. It's the plan.
That still doesn't help us find the guy.
No, you're right. You're right.
You're right. When you're right, you're right. All right. So the tunnel / hallway, because it is still kind of this sort of apartment building hallway feel, except pretty much every door or doorway that you come across has been the room is filled with rubble. It's almost like you're kind of surprised this hallway is still standing. A lot of stuff, or if you do open peek in a room nearby, it maybe goes 3 or 4 feet before it's just wreckage. This is definitely the ruined end of the apartment complex. At the end of this hallway, you go out another 40-50 feet, and it comes to where the end of the wall would be, but it's actually just raw stone. And just down at the bottom, there's a, 7 or 8 foot wide, I don't want to call it a crevice because that's not right.
Crevasse.
Well, I'll say the word also not right. Crack. It's a jagged crack in the floor tiles that have been kind of chipped away to let someone down into the floor beneath.
Does it look like it'd be big enough for our prey, our lizard friend that we're chasing?
It would depend on how skinny. You know how long he is and how tall he is. It would depend on how skinny he is. Because if he could flatten out.
Yeah, I mean, if a snake can get its head through it, they can usually get their body through
if he could suck in his gut, he might be able to pop down through there.
It's 7 or 8 feet wide. What's the depth?
Maybe 2.5, 3.
Oh, even I could fit through that.
Again, if this dude's built like He-Man, no, he's probably gonna have a hard time getting through that. But if he's built more like a regular lizard man is, which is kind of spindly, thinner at the waist, he might be able to kind of slink his way through. Similar to our friend's graphic representation.
So the trail ends at the crack?
Trail ends at the crack, and same thing with the footprints. The footprints kind of end near the crack.
Do we see any clawing marks that he might have used to push or pull himself in through it?
There's a bunch of marks there that are probably claw marks, yeah.
Okay.
That's a good guess.
Any scaling, like as he's maybe going through the jagged edges of the rock as he's trying to go through, might have shoved off some scales?
Not up here, but potentially if maybe he like had to wriggle, they might have fallen down below.
Okay. I can't detect obvious.
The crack is non-magical.
Can you do that at will?
It's just a thing I can do. It's amazing. Like I detect that there is a crack here and there's some claw marks. So I mean, obviously I already knew.
Yeah.
Do we want to send Ixidor to poke his head down?
On a string?
I mean, presumably he's got little grippy hands.
Oh, I don't. I don't climb. If you want to tie a rope to me and put me down,
I mean, we put you in a 4-point harness, so you're not shouldn't be too worried about it.
If I fit down there and that is even mentioned amongst the group,
I'll go down there. I'm the best at this.
I mean, we'll definitely know if there's something down there once we get that tug, and then we have to reel it, and then tug it back and reel him in.
Well, it's like that's the question is do we want to go down there, or do we want to attempt to see down there and then come back up?
Okay. I go over to my backpack and talk into it, and a tiny little pseudo dragon comes out of it.
I forgot about your pseudo dragon friend.
So did I.
Aren't you like small enough to ride him?
No.
That is very specifically against the rules of familiars.
Oh, that's upsetting.
During the days of 3rd edition, there was a point where you could get a monkey familiar, and people started to be like, "Hey, I'm going to give it a feat with full weapons, and then I'm going to give it 2 fucking wands and just murder everybody with my." And they were like, "You can't do these things." But my familiar can fly down there and take a look around.
That's actually a really good idea.
Is this what we're doing?
I feel like this is
Subscribe to that
what that was
newsletter.
intended for.
What is your pseudo dragon's name?
My familiar?
Yeah.
I don't like to say
It's
it out loud
unpronounceable by
because
you,
I'm always
Round Eye.
afraid that because I call him Little Ixidor.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. Well, Lil X heads down. That's his rapper name. Heads down through the crack, easy, and takes a look around. And you are not high enough level to have a telepathic connection yet.
Oh,
But
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
But you can get the empathic feeling, I believe. Whoa.
does it understand a language?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pseudo dragons. I believe they speak 2 or 3.
Yeah, their pseudo dragons are super smart.
Yeah.
And annoying.
I'll say if
The
we
only
want.
reason I have a pseudo
And
dragon
delicious.
is because of the fact that I am a warlock with a connection to the dragon.
Yeah.
Why,
Okay.
Culvert? What are you trying to figure out?
I'll say if we want, I can create a telepathic connection to it.
Yeah, it can it understands common and draconic, but it just can't speak. It doesn't have vocal cords.
Yeah. So as long as it can understand a language, I can create a telepathic connection to anything.
Okay. Does it, if it resists, does it get like a will save or wisdom save?
It doesn't talk about that at all. It's just a bonus action to create a telepathic link for 10 minutes.
You know what? The same way that if it wanted to, it could ignore you. You can make the link and chit chat away.
Yeah, I have the Pact of the Chain, which is why it's a
better than normal familiar.
correct.
All right, so it flits down. So that crack in the ceiling, apparently it's only about a 10-foot drop to the next floor. And the next floor, the pseudo-dragon will pass on the information that it is very wet down here. It's drippy ceilings, leaky walls. I'm not going to touch anything because I don't want to get my wings wet. But there's definitely there's signs of things happening down here, and I think I hear something. Should I go forward?
Oh no! Come right back here and go back in that bag.
But it sounds interesting. They're speaking our language.
Oh well, then we'll be right down.
Can I go? 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 Can I go?
Ixidor's like, let's go down. Speaking Draconic, it could be a dragon.
Don't the lizard men speak Draconic?
Yes, they do. I need athletic tests from everybody who's just kind of dropping down. It is a DC 10 to avoid basically a crappy fall.
How big is the opening? I thought the big opening wasn't wide enough for us.
No, it's sizable. It's just whether or not someone who's built like an ogre could make it down.
We can fit through this crack.
Yeah.
Okay. I rolled a 20, which means I got a 19.
Superhero landing. Yeah, you hit the ground and you realize what the athletics test really was for. It's because the ground is slimy. It is got about a centimeter's worth of like algae and like fungus growth.
20.
Anyone less than 10?
Not natural.
I rolled a 14, but I got a 12.
Okay. All right, so everybody makes it down the crack into the next floor. First off, you are greeted by there's actual light down here. There are clusters of phosphorescent fungi that have been sort of scooped together to form almost like candelabral balls.
Yes.
You give it a munch. Like, oh, check it out, my teeth are glowing. But yeah, like so it's dim light, but it is still light. You can still see around here. You can also see that there has definitely been a large set of like feet dragged, big like scuffed tail marks on the ground, and a surprising number of smaller footprints, human-sized footprints, back and forth in the muck. Whether or not it's days, some are days, some have like got a little thin layer that it might be. Maybe it took a week to grow. So there's a decent amount of traffic through here.
Do the human footprints look like dragging, drudgy footwork, or like confident steps?
They look like booted or sandaled feet. They might have dragged their feet a little bit here and there, but it's not because of being dragged. It's just probably they didn't step quite high enough and they caught the muck.
Okay.
Down at the end of this corridor, one way you look, and it goes to a stairwell that is currently flooded. Like you can see 2 or 3 stairs and then one.
Probably leads back to where that bedroom collapse was.
Yeah.
And then the way forward, it goes and it like you can see the glowy patches, and then it sort of bends into. You can see an archway. You get the impression that this might be the spot maybe between build, like if this wasn't buried, then maybe you're in an alley right now, or like in a spot between buildings, like a connecting bridge or something. Like it's hard to tell because there's no open air. Everything's been buried, but you get the impression that that looks like an entrance to another type of building.
Okay.
And your pseudo dragon is doing circles around your head.
Yes, my little friend. Let us go and see what that talking is. Now that we're down here.
I agree. They're saying words that I don't know.
No, that seems bad.
Oh no.
Maybe it's just a little spherical change.
All right. So where
We
you
advance.
You advancing?
I'm gonna start sneaking.
Yes, in that same order as earlier.
I would request stealth checks from anybody who is trying to be sneaky. If you're not being sneaky, just give me what your passive stealth would be.
I'm on a 14.
What would be your passive stealth?
Passive
Since they're
stealth.
going in.
Passive stealth is 10 plus your whatever your modifier is, but then I modify it for the circumstance in the area. So like your passive stealth, if you've got like +5 to your stealth roll, your passive stealth is a 15, which is actually really good. But that's taking into consideration walking down a bare street with no leafy, cracky, nothing. You're not wearing any clanky armor. That's just, this is the number that I'm naturally this quiet.
Okay.
I have an 18 on that. Rolled a 13 plus 5.
I have a 13.
Okay.
Okay. If I see everyone else is trying to be stealthy, I guess I'll attempt to be stealthy.
I'm going to just walk behind everyone.
I got a 10.
All right. So you start going down the hallway. Typhon can't help it. It's not his fault. He's made of metal.
Believe it or not, my passive stealth is a 15.
Oh, because you're a monk. I was like, how?
I should have just not rolled them. Like I just walk.
Well, you still would have had some issue because you're walking around on slimy feet. But it is better. That would have been better than anything. So Typhon can't help it. He is made of metal. So when he steps on a collapsed sign, basically like the hanging sign from a building had fallen off and is under the muck, you didn't have a choice. It was you stand on it and the wood splinters and it goes pop and it pops up on both sides of your feet and the metal rungs on the sign kind of hit your shin, not painfully but loud. So that lets out a little clang, echoes out. Everybody knows oh man, like you can't. One of those, if anybody's listening at all, they heard that, even remotely. And from around the corner, in Draconic, not the lizardfolk like hissy Draconic, the kind that like scholars speak. He says, "See, my friends are already here. You might as well just turn around and go home."
So I'll just. Is there a door or something, or?
No, there's an arch. Basically, it bends around and goes into that other building.
I'll just walk through the entrance.
I need initiatives. So Manon had a 15. Grazakh had an 11. You said.
Mm-hmm.
Ixidor.
16.
16. Typhon.
9.
And Lassiter.
12.
12. Yeah, I figured it out. I'm the one that screwed it up. Okay. Aha! There we go. All right. At the top of the order is Ixidor. So what you have heard is it's upside down. He's doing weird things. You heard in that scholarly draconic that see, my friends are already here. You might as well turn around and go home. It's the only way. It's the only way you'll survive this.
I shout in, good draconic.
I say we let him go.
The forces of Paladine are here. The forces of Bahamut are here to rescue you, my friend. And then I say to the team, he's in that room.
Which he?
Yes.
The
Foreign?
cartographer.
What's the cartographer's name?
Pontelli.
Oh.
The cartographer name is Hastrix.
Yeah.
The
It's his
expert
friend.
is Pontellius.
Pontellius. Yeah. But Pontellius was also going to the cartography school, so he might also be a cartographer.
Clever.
Valid.
All right, so are you taking any action, Ixidor, or are you just speaking and giving, because chatting like that is free action unless you want to combine it to a skill?
I only thought about doing that. I will hold back.
Because you're currently still in a backpack.
I think it's back.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay. Manon, you're up next.
I would preferably like to hold my action and movements that I go in through the door with somebody.
So what you're going to do is you're going to take a contingency action and say, I'm going to move at the same time that this person does. When they move into the room, I'm moving with them.
Yes.
Who is that?
And I'm trying to think. The other person who was willing to not immediately kill people on sight was Typhon. So Typhon will be the
war
person
robot.
I want to move with. So I will move with him and position to attack, but not attack.
Okay, so you're specifically not taking attack action, but you're definitely moving in with him at Typhon when Typhon goes.
Yes.
Okay. Lassiter on a 12.
All right, I will draw my here and I will proceed into the space.
When you enter the archway, it's not far. It's like 20 feet to get to the archway, and then like 10 feet into the room.
Yeah.
Now another good 15 feet further into the room is where you're going to see the people involved.
Okay. What do I see when I make that turn?
Yeah, the room, the archway, it leads into almost kind of like a small, like an open air theater, except not open air. There are a bunch of like beams and stuff that have fallen on top of it to give it a ceiling.
It's a closed air theater.
So it's more like a
It's like,
gallery?
yes. What's up?
More like a pitted gallery?
Kinda, yeah. Like there's benches and stuff. No one's in them currently. And then at the far end of the of like where things start to look like it's really getting kind of rubbly, you have there's no issue seeing who you now have come to realize is Krut. 12 feet tall at like the top of the crest. But she's just a little big. He is a little spindlier. He is a little skinnier. He's built almost raptorish. He's got very long legs, very long arms. Around one of his forearms, he's got a big, heavy lead metal bracer that has that same insignia on it that the lizard folk, the common folk had.
Okay.
And in his hands, he's got, or in his hand, I should say, he has got a big, heavy, like it looks like a club, except instead of it ending in a club, it ends in basically a set of claws. It's like he's got like bear paw claw hand club.
Okay. And who are the others that he's talking to? Or
There is one other person who he's like staring, like looming over at this point, and it's just a human in long flowing robes that are much nicer than any of the robes you've seen on the scumbag cultists thus far. Like these are actually like they've got embroidery on them. Like they've been kept relatively clean, except for the hem because it's been dragging around in the gross.
But they are similar to those robes?
They are similar in design, although there is no question that this guy is a dragon cultist. He doesn't have face paint on. He's got a like hammer tin mask that looks like a dragon snout. But you can see like underneath is just a human chin, you know, like just kind of like it's like a plague doctor mask, except a dragon snout. But both of his hands are currently on fire, and he's like holding them up as if like you know, hey, come any closer, I'm gonna burn you. I'm gonna burn you.
At me?
No, at Krut, at the giant lizard man.
Okay.
They're having a bit of a square off. It does not look like Krut likes fire too much.
Then he's gonna love this.
All right, so you turn the corner.
Rick lights himself on fire.
So I kind of step for just a little bit, and if I can, you know, and I'm gonna zap magic missile at Crux.
Pew, pew, pew. All right.
Yeah. So
roll your damage because he does not have any kind of spell immunity or anything weird like that.
Actually, we're only third level, right? So it's pew.
13 points of damage.
Did you get 2 missiles?
3.
You get 3 now with the first time you cast it.
Nice. It's a 1d4 plus 1 each. I got 4, 3, and 3. So
they smash into his back. You know, like obviously not really expecting to be hit with these little bubbles of force. And he kind of looks over. You know, his eyes are on the side of his head because he's got that big flat lizard head. He looks over to the side, and you can see his jaws are crazy, filled with like he's almost like some kind of Neanderthal lizard man throwback.
Nice. Well, I will tell him when he kind of takes a look at me, I'll say, stand down. I am not alone.
And just to make the gag work, we'll all wait outside.
Grazakh on an 11.
So I see that happen. Grazakh is going to try and stealth into the room the best he can.
Okay.
Try and get in a position to ambush this thing.
All right. Go ahead and make your stealth check. It is going to be with disadvantage because there is not a lot of hidey holes walking into a room where you're being looked at.
I rolled a 12 and a 14, so a 16.
All right. You're pretty confident that no one noticed you. Maybe it was the fact that Lassiter just hit him with a bunch of magic missiles. He wasn't paying attention to that part of the archway. But you will still need it because you're not like a speedy rogue. You're still going to have to move at half speed or uncover yourself.
I'm going to try and just move as close as I can since
okay. You won't be able to get there until next turn.
That's fine.
Okay. On a 10, the cultist laughs at like with the fact that Lassiter's arrived. He sees the magic missiles and he's like, "We're going to wear your skin like a trophy," and just kind of launches a couple of little fireballs up into this, not legitimate fireballs, little balls of fire up at this guy's chesticles. And he hits once and inflicts a modest amount of damage. Not, like fire leaps up off of the thing, and he laughs, and the cultist, suddenly whereas his voice sounded a little more like, "Yeah, you get out of here, mister." now that suddenly there's some people coming in, it's a different story. All right, Typhon on a 9.
So Typhon will stride into the room, and I'll walk so I'm close to the two of them.
Okay.
So I'll walk by Rick. I'll walk so I'm closer to Crut and the other guy.
Okay.
And I'll be like, "Salutations, bioforms. I am seeking Pontelius."
All right, Manon. Obviously, your contingency action only required you to walk into the room, so you could stop at the archway and not join him in the danger zone.
I would like to stop roughly 60-ish feet away.
Okay, well, that'd actually be outside the room.
Oh, well then just inside the room is fine.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get into arm's reach, but I'll stop maybe, I don't know, 10 feet away.
Okay.
I mean,
There is no seeming effect of initially.
That's fine.
However, on an initiative of 3, Crut will use an ability called Rend the Field. It allows him to make a claw attack against each creature of his choice within 10 feet. So it'll be you and the cultist. You're the only 2 people within 10 feet of him.
Sure.
His claw attacks. What is your AC, Mr. Typhon?
16.
That is going to be a miss. He rolled a 14, so it just kind of scrapes across your armor plating. The cultist, however,
And to play into it, I don't move. I'm just like, I just stand there as he, like.
yeah, just sparks fly. He definitely connects on the cultist though, which does Rend the Field, does a claw attack, so it's going to do. Holy crap, that's a lot more damage than I anticipated.
That was multiple dice.
Wow. All right, we're gonna do that. Anybody damaged by these attacks have to make a DC 13 strength saving throw, or you're knocked prone. Specifically hit. You are not actually hit. And yeah, the cultist gets, aside from nearly eviscerated, he also gets knocked back on his bum. The fires immediately go out in his hands, and he's like kind of trying to crab crawl away and hold in his sausages.
That's gross.
Bringing us to the top of the order, Ixidor.
I'm on Grazakh's back, correct?
Yeah.
I'm sneaking around.
Yeah, I mean,
He's in your backpack.
Yeah,
I was when you went through the door.
Unless you put down the backpack, he never got off of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since he's sneaking, I'm
Answer.
going to take a contingency action that until we're out of this, and then I will pop out of the bag.
Okay, so like basically you're waiting. You're like, okay, as soon as Grazakh does something loud, I'm popping out.
Yeah.
All right, Manon.
Which direction did the cultist drag himself?
Just away. Yeah, he's like directly away from the door, away from the fight, away from. He's just trying to get away from. He's trying to get out of claw range of the giganto monster.
Okay. I would like to skirt around the room in such a way that I will eventually intercept with him.
Okay.
Because I want to talk to him when he gets there.
I don't think this is our guy.
No, I don't think so either, but I still want to talk to him.
Okay. You could easily intercept him with a double move.
But would that put me within range of Crut?
You're pretty sure that if Crut moves, there's nothing in this room that isn't within range. He's a big boy.
Yeah, and it's only a 15-foot space between where I was and I wasn't even in the room.
Yeah.
True.
Are you worried about putting yourself into his threat zone so when you move out of it, he'd get to attack you?
No, I just don't think he wants to be next to him.
Yeah, I just don't want to be directly next to him in his swing zone.
Well, I'll interpose myself between you and him. So.
Okay. As can I ask him can I ask the cultist his name as a free action?
Yeah, you can talk. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just want to ask him, like, who he is and does he know where Pontelius is?
All right. He will get to respond on his action if he is still alive.
Okay, and then can I still do a regular action?
Absolutely.
Yep, and then I'm just going to upcast Dissonant Whispers at Krut.
All right. Does that require me to make some kind of saving throw?
Yes, that is a wisdom save of 13. Seems low, but okay.
Not great for him. He fails. What does that do to our good friend?
That is 4d6 psychic damage, and must immediately use his reaction to move as far as his speed allows away from me.
Dang.
All right. Yeah, badass. Go ahead and roll your damage and tell me how much that is.
Hold on, let me find.
His like brain runs out his nose.
Yeah, she speaks to him in language that doesn't make any sense. It's like backwards and upside down German.
4, 8, 10, 12.
All right. Ouch. Yeah, he lets there's like the little ear membranes. There's like a little trickle of blood on either side, and he shakes his head, and he's trying to get away from where the sound is coming from. So he starts to walk, like scuttle to the other side of the room because you were going around one way to meet this guy, and so he said. So he starts hauling the other direction. His movement's only 30, so he won't like run up into the bleachers or anything, but he definitely runs to the side of the room to try and get away from the noise inside his head.
Oh, he's dead.
All right, Lassiter, it's all you.
All right, so he's obviously within half movement range for me, right? Like 15 feet.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah. So I am going to go into combat with him. I already have my rapier drawn. I'm going to draw my short sword, and I'm going at him with 2 weapons. So I have that wonderful 2-weapon fighting.
Okay.
And so for the first one, for the rapier, it is a 14.
It hits his scales and bends like a needle.
That's okay because I was using that as a distraction to really get in good deep with that short sword for that wonderful sneak attack, which is going to be a 17.
He is an AC 15, so you do
Nice.
you do hit on that second one.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and roll your damage.
So the short sword itself does 1 + 3, which is amazing. And then do I get my snake attack?
You do not get your sneak attack. You do not currently have advantage.
I don't. Well, that just seems unfair.
That just seems like.
But you
Then I will.
I disbelieve.
you gave him a good stabbing though, and there's
As I do.
and there's blood trickling from his belly. Grazakh on an 11.
He's too far away for me to go sneak attack him, right?
At this point, yeah.
Grazakh is obviously worried that there's prey bigger than him. I'm going to run forward, try and splash as much mud and muck as possible and make a show of it. Grazakh was formerly a gladiator. Cock back my club, go, time to die, wormbrain! Again, he's really going to try and play up the theater, prove that.
Yeah. Go. You know what? Give me an intimidation.
Win the crowd.
And
I'm
also,
winning.
just because of all the kicking up and the splashing, you came from down low and sprung back up. As you cross that middle section, Typhon was going to notice this here in a couple of seconds. In the muck and the gross of the ground here, there are also half a dozen other dead cultists that have been like torn to ribbons and stamped into the ground. It looks like the one that is currently trying to crab crawl away. He was probably like the last on the menu.
All right.
Intimidate away.
Roll a 16.
All right, you are pretty sure that your intimidation, you're not scaring him, but you probably did a good job of taunting him.
Yes, and that would definitely be the goal, is that Grazakh wants to be the biggest of the room.
You do believe that perhaps that worked.
Okay.
On 10, the dragon cultist, seeing that Manon's trying to get his attention, he will drink a potion really fast because that one claw almost killed him.
He did.
Almost did. And then
Grazakh made himself a known.
And then he'll start sliding over. Like once he gets the potion, he's not stopping crawling. He's staying low and like staying small. And he's gonna head over to you. He's not answering just yet, but you're a human and not trying to eat him.
When
Ixidor, you got to pop out of the backpack.
Right, yeah. Right, he pops out of the backpack, sees the cultist, and puts a bonfire in the way in front of the cultist to stop him from moving.
Moving to
Me?
like, so you're putting a bonfire between the cultist and Manon?
Yes.
All right. It's not on him or anything. It's just between them.
Just between them. If he goes near it, he has to make a dex save or take damage.
Okay, he's really not in the position to do that.
Yeah, that was my assumption. I don't really plan to ever attack anything, but putting fire in front of things seems like a thing that I will do.
Typhon on another.
You bad man.
Oh.
Lying bad man.
I don't think Typhon realized that he's muted.
Oh.
Typhon, you're muted.
Yep, sorry.
And it's your turn.
So, all right. So he didn't answer. He didn't answer Manon though, right?
He didn't answer, but he started to kind of head over towards her, and then a fire sprouted up between them as a barrier.
Okay. And where's Krut? What is he?
Krut is over next to Lassiter, over on the far end by the bleachers, as far away from Manon as you can get at this point. But Grazakh is near you, currently kicking up a bunch of mud and muck, making himself the biggest guy in the room.
Okay. Are there any other threats in the room besides Krut?
Not unless these completely eviscerated cultists get up and start biting you.
Who hasn't gone yet in our group?
You are the bottom of the order for the collectively good guys side.
And we have no idea where the wall of fire came from?
Oh, no, Ixidor did.
No, it came from Ixidor.
Oh, you put it up between them?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll engage Krut, so I will go into war mode. I'll move across the room and I will unleash a flurry of blows.
All right.
So
Like actually spending the key to do all 3 swings?
No, I'm going to do 2 and see what happens, and then if he's still up, I'll expend a point.
Well, remember, do 1 because you only get 1 bonus action, and if your bonus action is spent for doing the extra attack once, you can't do your key power because your key power says turns my bonus into 2 extra.
Right, but I thought I had.
So you only ever get 1 bonus action per round. Normally, as a monk, you may always spend your bonus action to go whoosh, and get 1 extra pop. You may choose to spend a key point, and instead of doing 1 extra pop as your bonus, you get 2
I
pops.
got you.
Yeah.
All right, so I should do 1 and then wait. Okay.
1 and see what happens.
Okay. So that is a 17.
As an AC 15, you smack him in the right in the snaky little rib cage.
All right, so that's 5.
All right, still standing.
I'm not gonna waste a key point. I'll just do a second attack.
Okay.
So that's a 15.
15 will connect.
And that's another 5.
All right. He's looking worse for wear. Like your last couple of connections, like kind of like that overlapping serpentine scales. Like there's some blood kind of coming out between them. Like it's a bruise underneath the scales. And then it is his turn. I have to roll to see if his thing recharges. It does not.
That's right.
So he does not get to rend the field again. It has to come back before he can do that.
He ain't got nothing on us.
However, he still gets to multi-attack, which it gives him
Claw bite.
1 with his claws and 1 with his bite.
Claw bite.
I'm gonna flip a coin. Oh wait, no, there's a threat. I gotta roll to see if he goes charging past you guys to go after Grazakh, who's like, "Come get me, you scaly bitch." Oh yeah. So yeah, you guys will both get to take an attack of opportunity as he ignores you completely, and he's like, "I'm going to put my teeth in Grazakh's face."
Okay.
All right.
I think I missed him that time. No, I have 15.
Those will both connect. He has an AC 15. He doesn't get anything special.
He takes 9 this time.
All right. What about you there, Lassiter?
So I rolled a 15, so 15 plus 5. So
It's enough to hit, yeah.
Yeah. And so I do 4. I rolled a 1 on my damage, which is great.
Which is great.
So 4 points of damage with the rapier.
Right. Between the two of you, what is your dexterities?
Hi.
Mine is a 14.
My dexterity is a 16.
All right, so Lassiter's swing is actually technically going to go first. Your 4 points of damage is enough to bring him to 0.
Okay.
Because you are in a fifth ed game, you have the ability to choose, and you're fighting with something that, in theory, that could be a hamstring. It doesn't have to always be go for the guts. Do you want to knock him out or do you want to kill him?
We want to knock him out. We have to ask him stuff.
He asked me if I wanted to knock him out or kill him there.
This is a Lassiter thing.
Oh, remember, this isn't Vampire. It's a party-based game. So
if this dude was running away from you and you go to stab him, are you thinking about, oh, I need to make sure that he's alive as a captive, or am I putting down the monster?
Man, that's a great question, and I'm going to consult my inner dialect. We're going to not kill him.
All right, so you...
But I wasn't able to hear my inner dialect because I have that ring of mind shielding, so I'm really screwed. I'm not going to kill him.
All right, so are you knocking him out or are you killing him?
I'm knocking him out.
Okay, so basically you, as he starts to run away, Typhon goes to swing up above, and Typhon hits him without any trouble. But your sword had already kind of ran across the backs of his thighs, and it totally just face first falls forward into the muck, does a little head over heels, and comes to a collapse.
In front of me, right?
A couple of feet, but yeah, he was. If he would have made it away, if he was going to make it, he'd make it to you, but didn't happen.
Yeah, brother.
And I take that beautiful bow. I take that beautiful bow and said, "And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do it."
Ixidor, stop at the order.
The I yell at the cultist. What foul evil are you doing here, spawn of Tiamat?
All right. At his option, at his action, he'll get to go. Do you want to take any action, or are you just basically kind of spurning him?
Yeah, no, I actually want an answer from him.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I will make a blade ward as I'm talking to him.
Nobody's stabbed. Okay.
Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
All right, Manon, it's all you.
Pater Draconis.
Nice.
Well, since it looks like Ixidor is going to handle the interrogation of the cultist, I will go over to the unconscious body of Krut and hopefully start at least guiding or asking Grazakh to help me tie him up so that we can interrogate him next.
All right. Last turn of 12.
Oh.
You begin to tie. Like
I will. That's a good question. I will assist in the bonding of this creature.
Monster. Now that both of you are right there on him and like starting to move his limbs around, which are quite heavy, he has he's got that weird little clawed rod that he was kind of swinging around in some fashion. He has a belt pouch. He has a belt pouch that is much smaller than it should be. Like it's like if you were carrying, you know, those little dice pouches that like Chessex will sell you if you buy like one die.
Yeah.
Imagine he's got like a pouch on his belt and then one of these, like a tiny little thing tied next to it. It's really weird.
Seems legit.
And then on that big lead bracer that on the outside's got the sigil for the Hullgnasher. On the underside, in like chiseled, is some draconic lettering that neither of you can see initially. I mean, you see the draconic, you see the lettering, but you know what it is. All right, you're helping her tie it up. Grazakh on 11.
So, Krut is laying defeated in front of me.
Krut is laying in a pool of his own blood and mud, currently trying to get wrapped up in rope.
It's very important. I would need everybody to understand that he's laying defeated in front of me, lying at my feet.
Thank you. I'm glad you understand this. And then we have the cultist sitting over in the corner yet?
He's still currently sitting, but he's a couple of feet away from a bonfire.
And they clearly are not in danger of this thing moving or hurting them, right?
It does not look like it. Unless Krut is a hell of an actor, you should be fine.
Okay.
And the Oscar goes too.
Lassiter, who is an actor.
Acting.
Walking over to the cultist and again in an intimidating manner.
Hands up, dum-dum. Don't say anything unless I tell you.
All right, go ahead and give me an intimidate.
Hands up, dum-dum.
18 minus 1, I think. Or no, plus 2. No, plus 0. 18.
18. All right. So you're like, hands up, dum-dum. And he brushes the mud kind of off of his hands, and he reaches out to you, and he goes, please help me up.
No.
Do yourself.
Splash a little mud on him. Let him go.
Which he's next. So at that point, he'll look over at he'll like look past you at where Ixidor's standing, and go, and so you're not with this beast. Pointing to the monster, pointing to Krut. So this beast is not with you.
I'm the only beast in this room.
He stands up and dusts him, like brushes the muck off of his butt.
That
Picks
sailor
at his robe.
is not part of my august company. No.
He picks up his like looks at the giant furrows in his robe, like soaked through with blood, and he's like, "Well, that was awfully close. I'm glad you came when you could."
Why are you here, Dark One?
Dark One? My name's Theodore.
Of course it is.
Ted to my friends.
Is it Theodore, like, does he have like a action and an item and an action last name, like Helmstorm?
He hasn't given you his surname. Theodore verbing noun.
When I just want to say something real quick. When they're talking about, I'm the only beast in the room, I tell Manon, Lassiter goes, one time I played a beast on stage and I got a quite the cheer from that.
Probably.
Typhon, technically, until you say we're out of initiative, we're still in initiative. So.
Okay, I'll come out of initiative and I will, revert to standard mode.
Standard mode. So Theodore is standing there and he's looking at you and he's like, I wish you could have been here to save my brothers. But alas, they fell to this monster.
Why are you here in the first place? Why are you in this weird place?
We came to collect what's ours.
What?
So whenever we get the option to say, forget about it, let's just go and nuke this from space, we're coming back here. We're just going to nuke this place. Because the obfuscation of all of these cultists are really getting on my last nerve.
He kneels back down so he can get kind of snout to snout with you. Because remember, he's wearing this
yes,
forged dragon face. And he's like, you of all people should understand that he points at Krut, they are an abomination. They should have never existed. The fact that they're here in such numbers is a sign that we're doing things right.
Oh man. All this racism is really getting to me. Why? What very specifically, if you value your life, cultist, what were you trying to find down here?
Well, we live down here. We weren't trying to find anything. We were working on our way home when we heard some of our brethren calling from above.
Wait, making your home to where? Don't you live here on this rock?
No, I mean, he gestures to like all around, like the stony nothing around him, and he's like, no, this is where we stay.
So that's why it was set up like
those of us that have given up the path of mortality, the path of the path without wings. We let those who are unsure stay on the surface. But those of us that know our true matter is down here. And I have to thank you. He reaches into his little robe pocket and he pulls out a handful of gold pieces and he's like, it's all I have, but it's yours.
I'm assuming Grazakh's just gonna take
Snatch him and be like, you're my prisoner. Stop talking, dum-dum.
Prisoner? But you're my savior.
Prisoner.
Typhon at this point is going to like look aside at Manon and be like, I don't understand. So these humanoids worship dragons and think that they'll become dragons, but the lizard men that are closer to the dragons somehow aren't good enough. I don't understand.
I say same. I don't get this at all.
I was gonna say, Manon is getting visibly irritated at the cultist.
Problem solving.
Comparing a lizard folk to a dragon is like comparing a dog to a wolf, or worse than that. It's like comparing a dog to a winter wolf.
So
Yes,
a
they're of the
subspecies, but very closely
same
related.
lineage, but they are nothing alike.
Have you seen? What's our guy's name?
Pontelius.
Have you seen Pontelius?
It's not a name that I'm aware of.
Also known as the Specialist.
Oh, the expert on dragons.
Yes.
I was unaware of his name. We had not been properly introduced, as that these horrible things whisked him away before we had a chance to talk.
Okay, so you do not have him.
I don't. Do you know where he is?
Your associates do not have him.
I don't know. I have not had a chance to find them yet. Because of this, he looks down at Krajeski. I am of a mind that hopefully my compatriots, those further along the path than I, have the expert in their care.
Oh, that's good. We should need the level 2 cultist.
I was under the impression that these things had him, but he was asking me a lot of questions similar to you.
That's why we knocked him out too.
Which I can't thank you enough. How can I repay you for saving my life and allowing me to continue my way?
Repent from your evil ways and give up your worship of that dark and evil monstrosity you call a god.
Or if that's a little bit much, you can take us to your compatriots so that we may see if they have the dragon expert, because we have a very important question to ask him and we've been looking for him all day.
So
It's getting a little.
It's very annoying.
all right, so let me get this straight. So the cultist has said that the dragon, the lizard guy, and his companions had taken away the.
That's what he thought. Except now, Krut apparently, before he started killing all his friends, was asking him a bunch of questions similar to what you guys were just asking, which meaning that Krut didn't have it.
Okay.
Both groups think the other group has him, but we also keep only talking to low-level cultists.
Yeah, we need to go to a bigger boss man. I agree.
Yeah.
So I walk straight up to the cultist.
Theodore, also known as Ted.
I don't care.
Ted Theodore Logan.
Ted Theodore Logan. Bill S. Preston, Esquire.
Wow, we together. We are wild stallions.
And I am going to cast Charm Person on him.
Ooh. Oh my.
Will save.
What is the DC on your
It's
charm?
not great.
Okay.
He has to beat a 4.
Yeah, so he has to beat. So I have a +3 on the spell attack, but it's not really an attack with this one. But save DC 11.
All right.
And it's a
you roll the thing.
Yeah, it's wisdom, so he should be fine.
You cast a spell and he kind of cocks his head at you and he says, "There's no need for any of that. I'm willing to help you. You saved my life."
Well, obviously. However, I wanted to do a little bit more with it.
What can I do to help you?
I look back
Take
at
us to your
Manon.
leader.
There we go. Take us to your leader. I mean, that's what you do on alien planets, right? You say that.
Yeah, that checks out.
Let me. He fishes in his robe and he pulls out a flask, like a silver flask, and he hands it to you guys and says, "You may need this where we're going."
I don't like that.
Yeah, what is this? Is it like a potion of water breathing?
Yes.
Dang it.
Nice. He was real forthcoming. Oh, we're going down the flooded stairs.
However,
that makes sense.
you need. I will not leave my friends in this. I will not leave my compatriots in this state. You'll have to give me a moment to set them right.
That's cool. We need to talk to Krut anyways.
I don't think that would be wise.
Yeah, okay. So we go back over to Krut.
I'm gonna feed this guy my new lizard. It's the best plan. Yeah.
You like seriously go back over by Krut. He goes, I don't think you understand. He is a berserker. He is a monster. He's gonna tear through those ropes like nothing.
We can fix that.
Yeah, we can literally have our blades to his throat, so when he goes to try, we just plunge him in and finish the job. And we'll just say that the stress got to him.
I think you should be done with him while you still can.
That's exactly what an evil cultist would say.
But I will continue with my rights over here. And he starts basically lining up the dead cultists to do his strange burial Takhisis rites.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus.
Watching his rites from a distance, do they look like anything I know?
Give me a religion check.
Woo-hoo-hoo. 24.
Holy crap. Yeah, they're basically an inverse of what your own religion would do to fallen soldiers.
So it doesn't. It is like a for real.
It's a for real burial rite.
It's a for real version of this religion. It's not some just like some kids playing.
No.
The Backmasked album.
And in fact, the stuff that this guy is pulling out of his pouches, like out of his component pouches and stuff, it's like legitimate, like priestly oils, and he's got like the claw, like on his necklace, he's got like the claw of a draconian that he like traces the symbol of Takhisis on their foreheads. This guy definitely knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, everyone else we've seen so far has seemed like the posers.
Almost posers. Almost like
this guy's a real deal.
This guy definitely, like, if someone would say, like, if he suddenly cast another divine spell, you'd be like, well, I'm pretty sure I know where he's getting those from.
Yeah. Okay.
You are with your huge religion roll. You are also pretty sure that the Takhisian version of the burial rites are also the first part of a ritual to raise dead.
Oh.
Just as a side note, the two rituals overlap like a Venn diagram. So basically, when you set up the dead soldiers, you can then go back and go, all right, and like cross all your T's and dot all your I's, and bam, you've got zombies.
So,
do you want zombies? Because this is how we get zombies.
The moment we're moving on from this, I just light them all on fire.
While he's doing that, and Krut is still unconscious. I want to look in the tiny pouch.
The tiny pouch. So it's only tiny on him. To you, it's a regular sized pouch.
I still want to look in it.
Okay, you look at it, and it is darker than dark. Like, it actually seems like it eats the light.
Oh. Is there like a stick on the ground?
You can find something similar, like a piece of a door frame or something.
Yeah, I just want to poke something in it.
All right. You feel some resistance. Almost like you're like stirring pudding.
Oh.
Great. Now I want pudding. Thank you.
You pull a little stick out.
Yeah.
You pull a little stick out, and it's got little tiny like tapioca beads all over it.
It's the worms. It's the grubs.
Ew.
It's the grubs. The bonfire. Is the bonfire still going?
Unless he kept it going, it would have probably sputtered out by now.
Oh, yeah. No.
Ew.
No. I'm like, I'm holding it. I'm like, oh, I need fire. Oh, I need fire.
Does Ixidor have any more fire?
Yeah, I can do bonfires all day long.
Yeah, I would really appreciate fire because I found the grubs.
Yep. Create a cleansing fire.
All right, and throw a little pouch on there.
Pouch and the stick.
Pouch and the stick, the whole 9 yards. So the stick crackles and pops. You know, like the little eggies go, crackly.
No.
The pouch, when it hits, it bursts and shrivels up just like a regular pouch would. But what you think is really weird, aside from the fact that there's a bunch of like popping, crackling eggs that spill out of it into the bonfire, sufficiently killing them, that there is a pebble or something, like in the middle of this fire. There's a little like baseball-sized blob of darkness that's kind of like bouncing around within the fire.
That seems weird and magical.
It reminds you of when he casts one of his light spells on like a coin or something, except this would be the opposite.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense.
A continual darkness pebble.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
I guess.
You are satisfied that the rot grub nest is well grossed and destroyed.
Yeah. Did we go into his other pouch at all?
No.
Let's go in that while we can.
He has 22 gold pieces and a ring finger that has a ring on it that apparently, because of where the knuckles, when the ring finger started to shrivel, he can't get the ring off the finger.
Okay.
It's basically got a naturally mummified finger with a ring on it.
Okay. Anything special about the ring?
Well, it just looks like a wedding band.
It's Vecna's pointing finger. It points blame at everything.
I call Ixidor over to both inspect the finger and the draconic writing on the inside of the bracer.
The draconic writing is easy. It says, letter of ownership. My name Krut, owned by Captain Sorrow. 200 gold piece blood price.
Does that mean that we get 200 gold or we have to pay 200 gold if we kill him?
It looks like it's like a receipt. Like maybe that's how much he's worth.
You said that there was like collapsed like pillars, or not pillars, but beams of wood. Are there any that like we could? So if we tied his hands, right, and we put him through like the board between his elbow cracks across his back, so if he did go berserky ragey when we wake him up, that caused it to be a little less difficult, or a little more difficult for him to break his bonds because of the angle of his arms being pulled back, like the Vietnamese did to us.
You are pretty confident that you can bind him up pretty well. Now, if you want him to be able to talk, it means he's going to be able to bite.
Oh, is he?
Well, that's where his words come from.
Well, I'm just saying we can always, keep it. Like I said, we have a lot of
Do you
blades
have
here.
anything down here to fashion a muzzle?
Or do we?
Or do we? But at this point he's out at least for an hour because he has to regain hit points before he'll come back around.
Unless
someone heals him, then.
All right, so there's no trace of the guy we're looking for.
Other than them talking about that they were, other than the verbal trace, there's no physical trace now.
Do we think there's maybe another another faction that's down here?
I mean, the Giths are here, so maybe they're involved.
I mean, that seems specious to just assume it's them, but I mean
they didn't seem too terribly giving a damn about anything like that. But
the only reason I ask is we came here because we were told that the cultists grabbed him, and then we came here and ran into lizardmen who were like, "Oh yeah, we're looking for him. He works for our boss." And then we found Krut, who's like the bosun, and this like higher ranking priest of Takhisis, and neither of them seem to have him or know where he is.
Yeah, it seems either engineered, so either there's a third faction, or maybe he just ran away.
But currently, you have Theodore telling you that he's willing to take you to the rest of his people because he wanted to find out if they were successful.
Yes.
That seems like a terrible idea. But hey, that's where the XP lives, so I guess we'll...
But you also were planning on questioning Krut in some fashion.
Yes.
Well, so if he's gonna be unconscious for a while, I agree with Rick. I think we should tie him to a beam or a board or something. Like tie his tail to him because that's how he's gonna balance. Tie his tail, tie his legs, tie his arms, and then sure he can bite, but he's tied to a log. I'll just drag the log.
If we want answers from him, we just bring the pieces back to his captain. I mean,
what?
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
If we want answers, we could just chop his arm off and take the bracer and take it back to his captain and be like,
bring his head back.
Yeah, but I don't think that helps us. Like his captain is like upper management. He has given his manager the task of finding this guy, and it's like, go get him, Steve. So if we go back and ask him, he's gonna go, yeah, I sent Steve out to find him. Like he's not gonna know where he is. Like that's what.
oh, if we take Steve's bracer, it says, oh, by the way, he couldn't handle the stress of the quest to find this guy. We found him in a state of disrepair, and so.
Yeah, but I don't see how
what
that helps.
We need to know what Steve
exactly
knows. We need to know, like, why does he think the Dragon Cult took the guy we're looking for? Like, why was he
Right,
down
who told him that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like his captain isn't going to have him. Why would he send him out looking for him if he has him? Like the captain isn't going to be a help to us. We need to find Fontelius.
What's Krut gonna know?
Well, if he was on his trail, like if that's who he was like tracking.
Let him
Yeah.
listen to them.
Yeah,
Because-
but I don't know if that's the case though. I don't know if he was on the case and he ran into this guy.
Yeah, the note says, followed from Talistus, Krut took the scent. So, Krut, right now, has the most information.
Who is Talistus?
It's a place.
Oh, right.
All right.
So I think we should just tie him to a beam, and I'll drag him along behind us for the next hour, and hopefully we can then go with the cultists and see.
Well, the next leg of this journey, Theodore has pointed out that you're going to need to take a swig of the potion of water breathing.
Yeah.
No, I won't.
But Some of you will, because as Manon pointed out, the other end of this hallway is where where we need to go, because that's where our, for lack of a better term, our temple. Yeah, it's a shag. It's a sorry excuse for a temple. It's more like it's barely a chapel.
It's really a chapel.
So who here needs to take like at least a short rest? Like I'm spelled out. I can cast some cantrips. I have no more regular spells.
Theodore says he doesn't need a rest. He's fine.
I don't need anything. Only a long rest would help me, and we don't need that.
Okay.
We didn't take a rest between last session and this session, correct?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm down 1 key point. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm down a hit point. That's it.
Theodore says he's down to only a couple of spells.
All right. Now that Ted's in our party.
Okay.
I mean, we've only got an hour to kill, so basically, as long as we spend that hour really securing Krut,
Mm-hmm.
in the end, we only have like 15 minutes of just sitting around being like, is the guy gonna wake up?
I can also heal him.
Healing him 1 hit point will wake him up.
That's what I mean.
That's an option. So if we talk about our strategy ahead of time, I think that's a good idea.
We definitely want to be careful how much of this we let Ted know about.
Well, I was gonna say I would like sense motive checks, or well, I guess insight checks on all of you.
I mean,
As when Ted's done with his rituals, he scrolls back over and says, "All right, we can go now."
Oh no, the one.
I crushed that. I got a 23. I get a +5 on insight checks.
I'm really glad you did, because I took proficiency in insight and rolled a 1.
15.
Culvert's like, good old Ted? What are you talking about?
Grazakh?
I'm personally just been menacing this guy as much as possible.
You're like, I don't even care.
Like I just like my frame of mind as Grazakh is that Krut doesn't know shit. Excuse me. I led him here to a dead end, and this guy's trying to walk me into an ambush, and I'm much smarter than him. So
yeah.
Well, he is.
Mock him, and
as far as he's concerned, he's done with his funeral rites.
yeah.
His brothers can, other brothers can come and claim the bodies and put them to rest, to put them to their final positions later. So he's ready to take the swim, if you guys are. And then when you start talking about, well, no, we're gonna, we start tying Krut into like a Inquisition position.
Mm-hmm.
The sense motives, anybody with a 15 or higher, you could easily tell that Ted's basically waiting for a window to probably put Krut down.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those, he's trying to get a clean line of sight, and like moves his hand, gets ready to do a thing, and then like Grazakh will walk in front of him and he'll.
Yeah, I mean, and actively, like, I will, like, mock him, like,
Did that wrong. Stupid.
Oh, my apologies, Savior.
but with the intentions that I don't have any use for this guy.
Yeah. I don't distrust Ted, but I think he's a moron.
Ted is one clear line of sight away from murdering Krut where he stands.
All right.
So that means
I rolled a 17 on insight, and seeing that, I will actually go over and stand next to Ted with daggers out and just be like, put one hand on his shoulder and another one like towards his his working parts.
Be like, don't do it. Just don't.
I would just be like, yeah, towards working part. Hey man, just let us do our job, do our thing. Everything's gonna be just fine.
He'll change his tune slightly and be like, I'm just making sure that when he escapes, I get to return the favor and save you all.
I mean,
Can I get a second insight check on that?
Absolutely.
That's a 16 plus 3 for a 19.
He's not lying. He would like to set the scales even, but it's way more about killing Krut than it is about saving you.
Mm-hmm. So I just kind of say, why don't you and I go and sit down over here while they do the thing they need to do? And I say that really wasn't a question, or let's
As you wish.
You know, that came out as a question, but it wasn't a question.
Right. That wasn't really what I was talking about. All right. Yeah. So then, how many hit points are you giving Krut back? As Theodore takes the Jake
T-bone.
As Theodore takes a seat by one of the benches, he even sits on his hands for you.
So my ability to heal is via the healing light action that I have from being a celestial warlock.
Okay.
Which is I have a 46 healing pull.
So if you want, you can just give him 1d6 and be fine with it.
Yes, that's what I want to do.
Oh, all right.
And it is 5. There you go.
All right. He like it almost immediately tries to like stand up and realizes that he can't. Because his legs are bent in a funny direction, and he starts moving his head around and starts chewing on ropes. Because his neck is really bendy. So what are you doing?
Why do you need Puntilius?
I'm no slave. Let me out.
Oh.
I will not be bound.
You are currently bound. Your perception of reality is wrong.
I reject the reality and I impose my own.
He flexes, and everyone in the room can hear wood creak.
I will step a little closer to him, and I will.
I'll break a fang off of you.
I'll actually walk behind him and grab his arms and pull them back. I will add additional restraint to him.
Go ahead and make a strength check. He will make one as well with disadvantage because he's fighting bonds as well. You'll have no trouble unless you roll god off.
I got adding my bonus. That is a 17.
Yeah, you would have to roll much less. Yeah, between the ropes and you pull his hands further back, and he lets out a kind of a growly snarl, and he's like, "My captain will glass this planet if he treated me poorly."
Well,
he must really think highly of himself.
While this is happening, I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts.
Okay.
And so it's a wisdom saving throw, but as I try and find a specific piece of information, it becomes a contested intelligence check.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find information about Puntilius.
He failed the wisdom save, so you're definitely in there wriggling around. Let's do the contested intelligence.
Do I roll for that?
Yeah, so you go ahead and roll your intelligence check, and he rolls his.
Okay. So I rolled an 11, and I have a +1 to intelligence as well.
So you were successful and higher than his meager 6. So yeah, when you start kind of poking around and asking about Puntilius, and you kind of search his thoughts for him, what pops up. First off, you've never seen a Loxodon before. So that's your first image. You're like, whoa, it's a big elephant guy. So the description that you were given earlier is, that's for real. It's totally a big elephant. It's an elephant in a gentleman's smoking jacket with a pipe and a rifle over his shoulder. Imagine if he could have a pith helmet, he would.
A tiger in Africa?
He has a giant, like, this enormous monocle over one of his eyes, and because you're getting the imagery through him, he looks like he's been beaten severely and in chains, and like dragged behind a chariot that is being driven by Krut, and the horses that drive the chariot aren't horses; they're actually little dragonettes, like little little wormlings. So yeah, you're definitely getting his version of wants and desires when he thinks about Pontelius.
Okay, so that's what he wants to do.
Oh yeah. He definitely knows the man, and he wants him, but he wants him to suffer, and he wants to capture him, and he wants to bring him back, like at the end of a long chariot path of like gravel and sharp stones is the captain waiting with like open arms, and actually because this will be the first time that you'll have seen the captain, because you'll see it through Krut's eyes. I will put up a picture of Krut, or not of Krut, of Captain Sorrel. I'll put a picture up here. That's what he looks like. Wow. Yeah.
Feign reaction.
Ooh. Yeah, so that's also what Pontelius looks like. So you guys get Manon has this very vivid image of what you're actually looking for now, and potentially a threat in the future if he is as nasty as Krut seems to make him seem.
Yes.
Then back to the real world, outside of Krut's brain. What are you doing with me? Either kill me or set me free, and if you set me free, run fast.
I laugh visibly over here next to the cultist. We literally put you down in 10 seconds, my son.
Treachery, skullduggery, stabbing me from behind.
It's what I do.
Face me like a man would. What are you, some kind of rodent? You're a meal for my children.
You have children? Oh, geez.
Sadly, too many to count. And all of them will come for your bones.
Okay.
Manon, were you able to figure out where he is?
I'm trying.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm able to like steer it more towards what he knows about the location of Pontelius.
You get the impression that he knows that he is down here in the dark.
He is down here in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably down this stairwell under the.
Yep.
With level 2 cultists.
Right.
Level 2 cultists.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Maybe they're level 3 cultist. Maybe this guy's a level 2 cultist. Unless this guy's a level 1 cultist, the other cultists were level 0 cultists, which is why they were really bad at being cultists.
So, what did you give back? You gave Krut back 1 hit point?
Give him back 5.
I actually gave him back 5 hit points.
Wow, sweet. So he's like good to go. I think we should just go into the temple and see if he's there.
Yeah. I agree. I got what I needed from Krut. I don't care what happens to him after this. He seems particularly unlikable.
You look delectable. I would make a stew from you and a grog from your innards. Our crew would dine like kings.
So Typhon at this point will sort of pick up the beam that we have him tied to and just walk out of the room and just chuck him.
Okay. I think you might be overestimating your strength. This is a 600-pound lizard.
My strength is a 19. So my press is like around 800 pounds.
All right. So I was gonna say you're not just gonna lift him and like he's not weightless.
No, I get that.
I can get it over with.
Yeah.
I'll say like he has 5 hit points, right?
Lassiter has his blade on Dum Dum, right?
Yeah, yes, on his working parts.
Grazakh's had enough. He picks up his club. He stands above the scaly crow. What's his name?
I always win.
Club him in the head.
All right. Obviously, it is an instantaneous critical hit because he is incapacitated and cannot defend himself. It is a coup de grace, which means you would roll your double damage. Is double your dice plus your strength at least 5?
Yes, it would be 16.
Well, I mean, like,
Yes.
so your base damage. What's up?
My strength alone is 6, and I can't roll less than 6 on 2 dice.
Well, your strength bonus wouldn't be double.
Okay.
That would stay the same.
So 3 from strength.
And then you have at least 2 dice. So if you get 1s on each die, that's 5. That's enough to that. You didn't have to roll the dice. That's all I was just trying to make sure that, because if your bare critical minimum was like 4 and you flub the dice,
You're like, ah, he's like still
look
alive.
up at you and be like, try it again. Like you'd feel bad. It'd be like that scene in Walking Dead. You're like, oh, come on, stop.
Good measure, though.
However, you did good.
Maggie.
And he collapses, teeth go flying everywhere, lets out one last little shudder. His claws are still trying to reach you, and then stop.
So I will.
And Theodore
and
stands
walk
up and
down the
says,
stairs.
"I'm glad you've come to your senses. Shall we go?"
You're next.
I tell Grazakh, I say, hey, you might want to take this one's club and that bracer.
Yep. I'll start picking up his teeth and his club and his bracer.
The bracer is too small to fit out over his hand.
I'll take it.
Okay, I want to make sure that you were aware that you're talking to like breaking thumbs and stuff.
Coming back, I'll boot knife it off.
Okay.
And just eye down Cad the whole time.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got the bracer. Go ahead and make for other terms. Go ahead and put C1 next to it. Nope, not C1. Sorry, B1 next to it. So that way, in case you ever need me to reread what's inscripted on there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you've got it's a little rod that has like an alligator's paw on it.
Okay. Is it like a club or a...
It's effectively a club, like as far as like equipment wise goes, but it's like a spiked club that's made out of an alligator foot.
Okay.
All right, so as you guys get, Theodore passes the flask around to the people who need it. He says it's about a 50-foot swim. So, but it's dark, so you can't go real fast. That's why you need the potion.
I mean,
Dark fishing.
Ixidor could make it not dark.
I'll extend the arm blade I have again, and I'll walk down the stairs into the water.
Okay, that will definitely help. The tunnel, because that's really what it is. It's a staircase that goes down you're like kind of swimming down, walking down, pulling yourself along. And there are snails and slugs and all kinds of critters that Grazakh can put in his pockets and eat. There's even like a couple of like blind fish down here. Like it's its own little ecosystem in this little underground river area. But you do get the impression when you get into the actual like hallway part that's leading away from the buildings and towards wherever he's taking you, it becomes more of a natural tube, and there are pretty sharp rocks. And so if it wasn't for the fact that Typhon has the light going on, and anyone who wanted the water breathing could take the water breathing for a minute, swimming down here blind, and especially if you started like squirming, you'd get sliced up pretty bad, and probably panic and probably drown. It is a very nice protection for wherever you're going. At which point, it eventually empties into a foyer of sorts. You are welcomed by seemingly wind, like a cold breeze that is coming from kind of up and around you. It emptied into like a little pool that is outside of an actual structure, like a hinge, like a stone hinge. Except instead of the standing stones looking like big rocks, they look like crudely carved dragon heads. And within the circle, you can see several shapes mulling about. Lots of robed figures, and by lots I mean maybe a dozen. A couple of larger size, like they seem to be bigger than humanoid, like not like maybe ogre size or slightly smaller than ogre. It's definitely a mix of species that you're looking upon. There's an extremely heady smell of sulfur in the air.
In the water?
Well, not in the water. Like once you come out of the water to look upon this.
Oh.
And at the center of this group of idiots, as you know, Theodore says they're my brothers, as he splashes out, my brothers. Doesn't shout to them, nothing like that, just basically gestures to everyone. You can see a shiny, like glowing, like it's like a purplish, shiny, glowing circle on the ground. And before we quit for the evening and call call session 3, grub, call it to a close, I would like Arcana checks out of everyone. And this is literally everyone, because this can occur in any
Arcana? Yeah, dude, I've been rolling like 12 today. That's a 19.
19, so that's a 22.
Wow.
I was like, this will be a 4.
4.
Technically, this is a 15.
I got, yeah,
So we
7.
need-
What? Did we seriously all make an Arcana check?
I've not rolled less than a 17 all night. This is ridiculous.
23.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So perfectly at the end of the session, you guys all come out and you kind of like looking past.
Oh, like, oh, we get it. It's that guy.
His arms are raised. He's, you know, I'm welcome home. You look past his like wet robes, and you can see the shine and the sparkles and the sigils that are wrapped around it. There is an active teleport circle at the center of this shrine.
Oh, that seems like a very bad.
Do we see a giant elephant man?
Maybe he's one of the taller robe dudes. But
Um,
right now,
with our Arcana checks, I'm sorry. Do we discern if it's a teleport away or a teleport to?
they go both directions. Teleport circles go both ways.
Can you tell where it's in? Do the sigils tell you where it's teleporting to?
They can, if you know the language.
What language is it?
You'd have to get closer to read them.
That'll be next session.
And next session, you'll have to get closer to read them. All right, so for the
That
people
was a very good Hanna-Barbera announcement.
Yeah, seriously.
why? Thank you.
Are the Duke boys going to get out of it this time?
Are them Duke boys gonna get out of it this time?
All right, so for the people who maybe are just catching this first time, or they've never watched an Arcane Promise show before, Bryan Steele game, I like to ask my players questions about the episode, as it were, if this was a TV show, which it kind of is, sort of in its own weird way. So I'm going to roll a d6 here and around my cubicle of weirdness, and we're going to start with Jake. Jake, what did the audience learn about Typhon today?
I don't know. I think he's reluctant to simply unfurl the XP flag and just run at stuff to kill it. He definitely wants to figure out what's going on, and he's more interested in he's more goal oriented. The goal is to find the missing Loxodon. So running into an argument between a dragon cultist and a lizard man is irrelevant. He doesn't really care to do that. Even though they were fighting, even though the lizard guy attacked him, the only reason he went into combat mode is because he was attacked. He probably wouldn't have done anything if they had if he had walked in and just asked them that and they just kept fighting. He probably would have just stood there and not helped one of them. That's probably the big one. He's more objective based. He's less about the details.
All right. What do the audience learn about Grazakh?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I try. I've been thinking a lot about my character. I try and play Grazakh, again, as a good character, but also a bugbear. So he's kind of a benevolent mob boss. Whoever's around him are his minions, and he wants to protect them because they have value to him. And whether that's emotional or wealth or whatever. I also think he has a very clear sense of right and wrong. You can be mean to people, you can bully people. Once you start shoving worms into people, you gotta kill it. Once
note it.
Yeah.
Worms are wrong.
All right. That's a tick in the wrong box.
Thus far, I think for him, goblinoid evil is kind of yeah, we're gonna sack the town, and that's kind of what he ran away from. Well, this kind of I don't know who's bad guy and who's the bad guy, but there's two bad guys here. Definitely has him frazzled.
Okay, fantastic. What did the audience learn about Manon?
Probably reinforcing that she is kind of like Typhon. She's goal-oriented. She doesn't particularly care about whether it's good or not. She has a job to do. And then she has a little bit more espionage-esque traits than you would expect.
That's real.
True story.
What did the audience learn about Ixidor?
So this is the first time we got to see the little dragon come out. That was fun. But I think everyone would have learned that Ixidor has almost entirely forgotten that there is another quest. He's on the quest to
so focused on this dragon thing that it's
to stop these dragon cultists because they're obviously evil dragon cultists. I mean, and it's funny because I keep wanting to explain it. In character, I want to explain. No, Chris, want Ixidor to explain to Grazakh what's going on. But I know that Ixidor is just oh, no, it's fine. They all know what I mean. They all, they don't. They have no idea. We've never had a conversation about this. I've never asked them if, to join me in my faith.
Character-wise, if you were hey, you gotta hit him, I'd be naturally, yeah.
Naturally, of course. Yeah.
What did the audience learn about Lassiter?
I think the audience tonight learned that Lassiter might have a little bit of a dark side. That Lassiter isn't really all about the killing, but he'll put you down. Now, last session I really was about the killing. I needed to work some stuff out.
You were a little murder hobo-y.
You were, you had spent all night talking to a couple of gith and it got to you.
It did, and they didn't want to play my game, and I was a little upset about it. But like I said, I think they learned that Lassiter does have a little bit of a dark side. But again, maybe walks more of a neutral path and kind of bends where he needs to bend, depending on the situation.
Fantastic. What did Typhon learn this episode?
What did I learn?
Yeah.
That bioforms are confusing. None of them really seem to know what they want or what is going on at any given time. It definitely seems that, like, trying to put myself in the headspace of being like a somewhat amnesiac robot who doesn't really understand social norms and interaction. Like, it was like, oh, these are my compatriots, they're on my team, but even amongst my team, they don't really necessarily all want the same things.
Yeah.
And then he can differentiate between, you know, like, oh, that's a lizard man, he's a reptile, you know, Ben is a bugbear, he's a mammal. Like, these are humans, they're mammals. Like, the fact that there are mammals that are worshiping dragons that want to be dragons but don't think that lizard men are dragon. He was like, wait, what? Like, they're more dragon than you. What is happening?
What did Grazakh learn?
That he's confused. No, I think you know, his whole kind of thing is might makes right. And that, you know, if he's got to run over both sides of this to kind of get them moving forward, that's what he's going to do. I think he also learned that the Lassiter will generally go along with his plan. Like, so
he's got a friend in arms.
Yeah, Ixidor will generally be like, yeah, like, we could do that. And then you know, Manon and Typhon kind of, he's like, well, I have no clue what they're doing, but I guess that's what they do around here.
What did Manon learn?
That she will have to remind a lot of the group of the primary purpose. And that, so originally she was under the impression that the captain specialist was working voluntarily. But now, after being in the mind of Krut, nothing makes sense anymore. Everybody seems to want Fontelius as a prisoner, and she doesn't know why.
Now keep in mind, you were getting Krut's versions of things.
Yes.
And after having talked to Krut a little bit more, you can understand that his fairy tale ending is a lot different than what other people's endings might be.
Yeah, it was a dark and scary place in there.
What did Ixidor learn?
Ixidor learns that there is something very, very, very bad going on here. It's very bad.
It's very bad.
And again, I think before tonight, his whole focus was scholarly. But now, like literally, like, people are, there's just like a whole lot of racism and there's a whole lot of bad religion going on here. It's just it's a hardcore show from 1993.
Nice.
I get it.
What did our friend Lassiter learn?
So Lassiter has learned a little bit more about his companion's skill sets.
Okay.
Paying attention to what everybody's doing based on previous session and this session, learning that Ixidor can do some pretty interesting stuff, and that the link with his pet is a very interesting commodity to have. That Manon is literally an interrogator that can pry information out of individuals is good to know, and how she does her thing, and that Grazakh, when Manon can't do it her way, Grazakh can do it his. And Typhon can take a hit left and right, and it just seems to bounce off him. So we absolutely, you know, if we need to have a shield between Grazakh and Typhon, I think, like I said, I think our parties, he's learning that the intricacies of our party, and how every time we come into a new situation, how it can probably be directed proper.
Fantastic. All right, so now probably the question that probably is easiest for you and is the most informative for me. What did Jake learn today? And so, as a reminder, especially for people who are tuning in, this question is more along the lines of, even if it's like a system-related thing, like something in 5th Ed you didn't know about, or something about the world, or something about our game collectively. This is a much easier question for the players, but it lets me know whether or not I'm doing my job right.
I think I learned that it's that the whole, hey, you need to find this guy. Okay, check. And then he won't really come with us unless we find his friend. And I was like, well, obviously finding the guy was the hard part. Let's just grab his friend. Is taking way more time than I thought it would take.
Perhaps one was the quest and the other one was the preamble.
It's damn side quests. Why do we take them?
What did Ben learn?
Just trying to like dance along with the rest of the group. I think my paintbrush to get out of that situation would have been about 30 seconds of bloodshed, and everybody else was kind of like, no, like we have like abilities and skills, so let's use those first. But
cool.
I liked what I could do.
Clova?
I'm learning a lot of spells I haven't used before, but I'm learning to not take the story at face value, because we were told, okay, go get the cartographer and then you'll go, and I figured, okay, that'll be a quick stop, and then be like, oh, and now I'm starting to wonder,
yeah,
maybe the cartographer isn't who we think the cartographer is. Maybe it's this side character that we were sent to go get. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
I'm glad you said that. Chris?
I think what I have learned is I'm going to make a character that literally doesn't interact with combat was totally okay. That is not always the case in Dungeons & Dragons. So,
I mean, there's going to be instances where you're going to probably be like, "Man, I really wish I had that extra little oomph." But for the most part, most of my game sessions are going to be. There's a lot more role playing normally than the murder beat stickness.
I mean, the good thing is I was able to cast 1, 2, 3,
Not
4,
to be said,
5.
I see Ben's upset. Oh God, table flip.
But that just means more pickle baron.
But it does. But it also means that when we do have a combat session, like one where it's like, okay, time for like when we gear up for a big nasty, I will probably put it in the description of the video for the people who watch to be like, all right, there's gonna be a lot of dice rolling today. What's up, Rick? What'd you learn?
Well, I learned that you're bringing in a pretty interesting world for us. That the creatures that we're interacting with aren't necessarily creatures that we have seen in a normal D&D setting. With the Loxodon and the serpentine creature that was Krutz.
I had to dig a little bit to find a couple of these critters.
Mm-hmm. So I'm enjoying seeing that, because that's one of the things that I think a lot of, even I think people that are going to be watching this are going to see, is that, if you threw a regular lizard man or a zombie or a normal creature that we'd see, they're already going to be like, oh, that's got this hit points or this hit dice, and this party, based on what I've already seen, is going to be able to wipe that out. But because they may not have a lot of familiarity with the world that you're building, the creatures that we're interacting with, they're also going to be on the edge of their seat going, oh my God, how are they going to handle this thing?
And we're not even off of, like, you're in your first little hop skip planet. Like, we're not even off that one yet.
Yeah, so I'm really enjoying that, and I'm learning that your world building is very fun. So
Thank you. There's more gross to come too.
There's more. Oh, that's good to know.
All right, and so the final question before I let you guys tell everybody who you are and where to find you, and go ahead and you guys get to level up after this session. You guys all get to level 4 before you enter the shrine of Takhisis. Jake, shine a spotlight on a moment or something aside that was not necessarily involving your character that you thought was particularly awesome.
I really liked when Manon used her her like Professor X powers. Like first she like whacked Crut with with a mind bullets, and he was like, "Oh, I don't feel so good." And then she was like, "Tell me your deepest thoughts," and like.
I was not ready for that.
Yeah, like I was like, whoa, like I didn't realize she's playing what's his name from Men Talk the Mind Taker from Harvey Birdman. Apparently I was wrong.
Men Talk the Mind Taker!
I am taking your mind. So that was pretty awesome. That made my day.
All right. Ben, same thing.
Definitely Lassiter sneaking into the room and then throwing the magic missile. Again, kind of being on the combat side of things and wanted to go fight. I got the go ahead. Thank you. I think last session and this session, like kind of just being able to develop like that character is like kind of, you know, a real rogue was cool for me.
He doesn't want to lose the element of surprise. You know, like it is a rogue that waits too long, you miss that moment. You're like, wait, no. Okay, I guess I got to go in and clean up. Tova?
I loved the whole sequence of the fight where Grazakh was just doing like muscle man poses, and then Krut went down, so Grazakh still hadn't hit him, and then the only hit that Grazakh did was the final killing blow. It was just perfect.
I didn't even realize that. That's cool. All right, Chris?
I really like the fact that there was a scene where it was like, oh, there's this thing over here that you really want, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Oh, what was that?
It was I thought we had found a dragon.
Oh, the guy who spoke in really well.
He's found a really shitty fucking dragon cultist.
No.
Me and the dragon were real excited.
He's like, I thought it was real UFOs. It turned out just being a shitty UFO podcast.
Rick spit out his beer.
All right, so I have two, actually. The first one was when we all were reminded that Chris's character has a pseudo-dragon. And when we all got excited about that. It's like, oh my God, that's right. And we all got really excited about it. That was really fun to, again, be reminded of something very whimsical and fun about Ixidor. The second one is I'm going to go back to Clover, to Manon's character interaction. When you find out that she can, you know, my thoughts to your thoughts, your mind to my mind, Sarek. You know, I've been watching a lot of Star Trek Discovery, and I was just like, yes, tell me more about what you're about to learn. And so seeing that was actually, it was super cool, and I actually cannot wait to see what other little tricks that particular character has up their sleeve.
This question is always one that I always jump in on, just to I like to kind of throw out a shout out to you guys, something that you guys collectively did. I'm still always reminded that you guys are really kind of thinking in a more thinking. Stop it.
The control of your mind.
That you're thinking on your feet. You're doing. You're not just as a lot of D&D games are. You're not just murder hobos. You do take.
Some of us.
We have some murder hobos.
You might have some murderous tendencies, but you're not. You let those 4 lizard men go. You let the cultists go. You know, there are so many other games out there where they're like, we can't let them go tell their friends. You know, we let these cultists go, and boom, we're gonna have 50 more cultists. They're like roaches. You know, but no, you guys are like, go away, leave us alone, be gone with you. You know, the lizard men. Ben gave him a gold piece. You know, that's what they make in 10 weeks on the ship. They get a silver piece a week being crew on that ship, and you gave them a gold piece, and they're like, "Yep, all right, we're out. See you later." And these are guys that, you know, for me as a storyteller, I have to remember eventually, unless things get super weird, you are eventually going to meet up with Sorrel, and you're probably going to talk to crew. That means there are 4 crewmen that are at least, they know who you are, and they're probably at least partially willing to be like, dude, that guy bribed the hell out of us. Yeah, no, they're cool, boss. You know, like, that's stuff that you, a normal party, I don't see very often, or more often than not. It would be, oh, these 4 guys, well, let's either, can we mind wipe them? No, well, then let's head wipe them.
We mind wipe them.
You know, and
I mean, we can.
Can you,
It's the
Manon?
old-fashioned way.
Not yet.
but I'm reminded that you guys actually are thinking of this as living, breathing creatures. You know, Ben had no problem crushing Krut's skull when it was time, but it had to be time, and that's my spotlight, is that you guys are not just 0 hit points means dead every time. And thank you, that's awesome. So everybody will go to level 4 for the next session.
Do we get anything cool at level 4?
It depends on who you are. But also, we'll do that between game sessions. Let's go ahead and go round robin real fast and just let everybody know where to find you, so that way they can send you your praise or follow you on your various social media grams.
Send unto us your praise. I have taken your mind.
Yeah, so
Jake, you're first because Chris is disqualified.
So good. So I'm Jake Krajeski. I'm one of the managers and founder of Alpha Omega Hobby. You can catch us at alphaomegahobby.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Alpha Omega Hobby. We have a bunch of different community pages. We have a Warhammer page. We have a gaming page. We have an open community page. We have a magic page. We have about too many pages for me to list. You can also email us. It's just Jake at alphaomegahobby.com, or you can get Ben at alphaomegahobby.com. We'll also be doing some of the stuff. There's a bunch of virtual cons coming up. I'm also the CEO for Armor Class 10. We do shirts for Brian. We do shirts for Rick. I'd be happy to do some Kobolds Ate My Baby shirts for Chris if you want us to. But we'll be doing some of that soon. I know that they've got some different virtual stuff coming up. I'm not sure what exactly is happening yet. I think as of right now, the only 2 shows that are still on the books that I haven't heard anything about them potentially getting closed is Origins. It's supposed to be in October now, and PAX Unplugged is supposed to be in November. But Gen Con just got canceled. I know that Nova's got some rumblings going on. I don't think that that's going to happen. But, you know, we'll see. So, and I'm happy to send stuff to anybody. So if anybody is in the middle of nowhere and they don't have a friendly local,
You can be their friendly local.
That's right. Not Jeff Bezos. Boo!
All right, Ben.
Ben at alphaomegahobby.com, Alpha Omega Hobby Community on Facebook. I post there literally every day, all day. I love talking about Warhammer, Dungeons and Dragons. Really excited about that new Theros book. Bought Ikoria cards too. Super fun set so far. Bear Claw, also one on Instagram if you want to see my dog. He's my favorite thing in the whole world. Yeah.
All right, Clover.
I am Clover B Cosplay on Instagram, or at Clover B with 3 E's on Twitter. That's a lot of it. I very occasionally guest appear on Coven MTG, which is a primarily female Magic the Gathering EDH stream. Not recently because of stuff, but one day again, you guys should check them out.
Okay. All right, Christopher.
My name is Chris O'Neill, and I am the chief creative at Ninth Level Games. We do a bunch of really cool RPG stuff. We just got the reprint of our fantasy RPG mazes to the printer, so 5 new books coming. We also make a great game called The Excellence, and my co-creator Adrian Wilson and I will be on a live actual play of that next Thursday, the 28th.
Yeah, this will
really
be out
fun.
before then. So yeah,
Cool.
make sure that you guys tune in for that. That'd be cool.
I may or may not be dressed as a princess.
Oh, what was that date again? Let me make a note here.
We'll see. We'll see. There's a group that's been playing live plays of The Excellence every other week, and so they're running, and Adriel and I are playing. So
awesome.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. And
Chris, you should tell them about
at All Hail King Torg, and you can follow Ninth Level at Ninth Level Games on
He's
all
also-
the social things.
He's also the president of the Deathstalker 2 fan club.
I am not, but I could be. I mean, there's like 3 people in the entire world that
I was gonna say, how big of a club is this?
It's a pretty interesting club. There's a couple of weird guys in it. You might be surprised, but
I'll have my revenge.
And Deathstalker 2. I just had a really funny thing to say there, and I just forgot what it was because I was trying to. Crap, I don't remember.
Oh well. All right, close it out, Rick.
All right, I'm Rick with Rick Rolls America, where I travel across the United States, not since March, but and I'll be doing it again soon, hopefully, once some more restrictions are lifted. Otherwise, you can find out all the other weird stuff I do on all social medias at Rick Rolls America, and the Rolls is with a Z because I'm edgy. And since we've been sitting here, just to let y'all know, I am even on TikTok. I am the TikTok elder, but Rick Rolls America on TikTok. And while we're sitting here playing tonight, I got 500 more followers.
Jeez.
Legend.
So everybody, if you're watching and you're on that platform, check it out because I'm doing a lot of cool like marketing content for the gaming industry there.
Very, very cool. Y'all know me. I am Bryan C.P. Steele at Bryan C.P. Steele on everything. Or every week, catch my my YouTube show, Tales from a Professional Nerd, on Fridays, and we'll get this one posted up here shortly, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks to find out what happens to our intrepid heroes as they venture forward into the shrine of Takhisis. Dun dun dun. All right, see you guys.
I'll capture your mind.